The St. Nicholas is a familiar sight around Bluff as she steams out to capture Can-Do Fishing's famous Bluff Kinner. Once caught, the Kinner is brought back to the purpose-built factory in Bluff where it is processed, packed and shipped fresh to you. But that's not all that Can-Do Fishing can do for you. Try some of their greenbone fish or delicious power products and you will soon see why seafood from the Bluff is world famous. So head to your local fish market or supermarket and ask for Can-Do Fishing Kinner, fish or power. Can-Do Fishing, there's nothing we can't do for you.
Time to drop the hammer.
Okay, folks, of course, welcome to Beachlands Speedway here in New Zealand, the lower part of the South Island of New Zealand. For this, the Sprint Car Series, Southern Sprint Car Series, round number 3. And of course, this whole deal is being brought to you guys at Speed Shift TV through the Speed Shift Network as a bit of a way to introduce sprint cars and what the type of guys that are racing them here in New Zealand, and of course all the other different classes that we have that race around this part of the country. And of course, over the course of the season, you're going to see a lot of these classes that you probably don't know what they are, so we're going to take the time out today to explain exactly what the classes are, why they're here, and exactly what we do for here in New Zealand. So, beautiful day here. It's expected to rain earlier on in the day, but it didn't actually come in, which is obviously a good thing. But it looks like the track's going to be an absolute ripper. We've just had the sprint cars out there doing a wee bit of a warm-up as well. So, obviously in New Zealand Speedway, Speedway New Zealand is our governing body. So, unlike the different events over in the United States of America where they have a different governing body for each class, here in New Zealand, there's really only two. There's CTRA and Speedway New Zealand. And of course, we are Speedway New Zealand. We support Speedway New Zealand. 24 tracks across New Zealand, split up into both the North and the South Island. Riverside Speedway is pretty much very much the southern one, which is where we're based in New Zealand. And Dunedin's 200 and about 10 k's up the country heading towards north. So the CTRA tracks is just a few of those guys, and of course it's just like a breakaway that have different rules and different classes that race as well. So within those classes, we have about 10 classes that are around, and we have a few classes that aren't actually a part of a national title or a governing type body. We've got youth saloons, of course, which is pretty much unique to the lower part of the South Island. Nowhere else in New Zealand do they race youth saloons, and we'll explain those a little bit later on. We've also got production saloons here, which is basically based off a road car in New Zealand. So basically what they do is they get the car, they pop the windows out of it, all the interior, pretty much a standard everything, and they just put some roll bars in it and go racing. And then we'll also catch up with a couple of the street stocks as well. Street stocks are road cars as well. They just barred up a bit more heavier, and they are allowed to hit here in New Zealand. So you guys have street stocks over in the States, but obviously our ones are completely different to yours. They seem to be the heavier cars, so like you have Impalas and those big cars over in the States. Here in New Zealand they have Falcons and Holdens and Valiants, and there's a whole mix. There's a couple of guys experimenting with some front wheel drive cars and bits and pieces as well. Also, tonight we'll see the street stocks, we'll see the saloon cars are here as well. There's a good feel of those for the Otago champs. There's also super saloons as well, so it gives us a really good opportunity to tell you the difference. Super saloons in New Zealand are pretty much likened to your late models, except just a little bit down on the engine capacity. And of course, the other one that we have is saloon cars, and they are basically supposed to be an affordable entry into the saloon racing. They have a maximum engine size of 360 cubic inch, whereas the other guys get up to about 432 cubic inches, and that's about the maximum. So we'll talk a little bit about those. We're also going to meet all the guys that race these cars. Unlike a lot of the guys in the United States of America where you do 50 to 70 shows a year, most of these guys would be lucky if they did 20 to 25 shows. These guys have got to get up and go to work on Monday morning and earn a living, and of course the sprint car guys here, most of them are business owners, some of them are wage earners as well, and we'll go and we'll meet these guys, and of course we'll go and catch up with the kids that race in the youth saloon class, we'll catch up with the guys that race in the production saloon class, we'll catch up with the guys that race in the saloons and super saloons as well. So it's all about what's happening in the pits tonight more than what's happening on the track. However, we will cover all the racing. We can see the production saloons are out on the track now, and we'll catch up with the winner of this race when we get round to it. And of course we've got Steve upstairs. Steve, I hope you're listening in there, and hopefully you can cut in and maybe have a conversation with us up there.
Yeah, thanks, Jace. I can see you down there.
What's happening? We've got production saloons on the track there, have we?
Yeah, production saloons gritting up, and it looks like a couple of thumbs down from some of the drivers, so perhaps just looking to bring the track on.
Why would that be? What's the story? Why are they putting the thumbs down for?
Well, I think there's just a couple of shiny patches on the track where the water hasn't quite been packed in, so perhaps a couple of blokes just weren't quite ready to go, but it looks like perhaps a couple more times around, Jace.
And of course you've been around the commentary circles at Beachlands Speedway now for a couple of seasons, been a fan of Speedway for a very long time. Once again, you're another guy that works hard. You take some time off to come and check out the Speedway on any given Saturday night, is that correct?
That's dead right, Jace. So I've been a huge motorsport man my whole life, competing in go-karts and in later years rally cars, and yeah, just I like the way that you brought attention to the fact that all of our competitors here are amateur competitors, you know, paying their own way, doing it for the love of it, and certainly puts on a great show for the punters here in New Zealand.
What's your favourite class, mate?
Oh, sprint cars. It's got to be sprint cars.
Well, you're going to be in for a bit of a treat. 13 sprint cars here tonight, Steve. We're going to hand it over to you for race number 1 here from Beachlands Speedway. Best of luck for you tonight. Welcome to everybody from Speed Shift TV in America.
Yeah, thanks, Jace. And just to reiterate, Speed Shift, all of you guys in the States looking in, it's great to have you with us. We love our Speedway here in New Zealand, and hopefully we can put on an entertaining show for you tonight. Lights are down. We're going to go green this lap with the production saloons. Front row, the 83 car, Josh Murdoch on the inside of Callum Stanley. Green is waving and we're underway. Callum Stanley went early by the looks in the little Honda and charges into turn 1. Comfortably pulling away from Josh Murdoch. We've got a car going terminal midfield. That's the 38D machine of Mitch Finlay. That is massively terminal as he goes to the infield. We'll forget about him for a moment. Hopefully the fire crew make their way over to him quite quickly. We've got a bit of a situation down there. Back to the front of this one though. Callum Stanley leading the way. Josh Murdoch now coming under pressure from the 14 machine. That's Gary Cuff. Cuffy up the inside, down there into turn 3. Look at Isaac Hodgson in the 199. Mid-corner push, just struggling with this racetrack at the moment. Callum Stanley, though, out to a sizable lead. 4.5 seconds back to second place. And they're battling 2 wide through turn 1 and 2. Gary Cuff, of course, in the big rear-wheel drive Ford Falcon. Isaac Hodgson in the little front-wheel drive Honda. 1600cc only in the 199 machine. Big 4-litre inline 6-cylinder powering the Falcon. Isaac Hodgson looking real racy at the moment. It's Josh Murdoch to the infield, kicking the dust up. It's affecting visibility. 10 laps the distance. Callum Stanley still comfortably leading this one, but he is getting run down now by the 199 Isaac Hodgson. Callum Stanley debuting that new Honda Tornio for this season. Him and Regan Constable run together as a bit of a team. Built those 2 matching Honda Tornios over the off-season. Regan Constable there in the 63. He's battling down in the 6th position. He's got Cody Glover in behind him in the 24 car. Cody Glover, a graduate of Youth Saloons. So just a young fella, probably 17 years of age. As it's all happening here at Beachlands Speedway, still Callum Stanley. way through the lappers in the lead. This is Regan Constable holding off Cody Glover. This is the race lead though. Isaac Hodgson in the 199, battling the 85 car of Callum Stanley. Lappers in front of them and behind them. Bailey Mitchell in the 78 buying into this. This is three-way fight for the lead. We're too wide down the front straight. Callum Stanley just really struggling to get around the 7 car. Put him a lap down. Isaac Hodgson swooped through to take the lead and has no issue getting around the lappers. Isaac Hodgson in the 199 checking out now on Callum Stanley, who is now battling with Bailey Mitchell for second position. White flag lap. 1 to go for Isaac Hodgson. He's passed a lot of cars. Utilised the lappers to get through into the lead with about 2 or 3 laps to run. Sends it into 3 and 4. Big push through the mid-corner at 3 and 4, but he's going to run to the checkers. Isaac Hodgson in the 199. Scores maximum points early on in the night here at Beachlands Speedway. Callum Stanley second, Bailey Mitchell third. Then it's the 89T machine, that's Brad McKee. McSkilling in the 85, Cody Glover, Regan Constable. 5th and 6th place respectively, but Isaac Hodgson, the young fella, 17 years of age. Full noise customs on the side of that well turned out 199D machine.
Situated just 1.5 hours drive from Christchurch is Hanmer Springs, a small alpine village that has everything for the adventurer or for someone looking to relax. Stay a while and enjoy a bike ride through the numerous bush tracks, or relax in the famous hot pools. Take the whole family and let the kids take on the many attractions on offer. And to top off your stay, book now with Hanmer Holiday Homes, where there's a budget and accommodation to suit everyone. Call now.
You'll really love the feeling of a flooring extra floor, so come and get that feeling today.
So we've had a fair bit of flooding and weather events in the South Island of New Zealand over the last few days, and it has affected the car count here. Unfortunately, we're down to 13 cars from a possible 2022, 24 was talked about. There's a bridge been closed on our main highway down through the island. Scheduled to run 6 heats in preparation for a 20-lap feature at the end of the night. So it looks like that is still on the cards. Cars been separated into 2 groups, Group A and Group B, as the first of our sprint cars take a push and get underway. Jason Scott, as I mentioned, in the 88T, the king of Cromwell. Ex-jet boat racer, of course, no stranger to high-performance V8 machinery. Jason Scott in the 88. 49T is slamming Sam O'Callaghan. O'Callaghan with Lakeland glass on the wing of that machine. He's competed at a very high level over the last few seasons, has Sam O'Callaghan. And the track looking nice and tacky at the moment. 42T, that's Nigel Colvin. Chester Colvin, he's been coming on real strong over the last season or two has the 42 machine, Nigel Colvin, the 4T, Kyle Shearing. Another one to watch. The 98T takes a push, Mark Evans. Now Mark Evans has been around for a long time. Hydrolink looking after Mark Evans from Central Motor Speedway. Here's our local man, folks, the 16T machine, the accountant, Matthew Anderson. New chassis in that race car and a ground-up rebuild for Matthew Anderson after he sustained a horrendous accident at Central Motor Speedway last season. I believe my colleague downstairs, Jace, was there on site filming that event, and if I'm not mistaken, filmed that accident quite nicely. The car got right up into the catch fence, and the chassis was damaged beyond repair. Great to see the accountant Matthew Anderson, of course, Dunedin based, so he is a local man. The one and only Dunedin-based sprint car competitor. As we have everyone up and running, they'll grid up and we'll turn them loose for 10 laps around the quarter mile here at Beachlands Speedway. Nigel Colvin just idling unexcitedly around the pole line. Not sure if he's got an issue or just waiting to bring things up to temperature before he gets on the hammer. As we're not far away, folks, the 8T, James Robinson, pulls into line. He's going to start from the inside of the third row. Looks like Slam and Sam O'Callaghan all on his lonesome on the outside of the front row. So that's due to a couple of cars being lost due to this flooding, as I mentioned earlier. So Slam and Sam O'Callaghan, he'll be hard to peg back from the front row of this one. Matthew Anderson, though, in the 16T, with nobody right in front of him. He's going to have a dream run off the inside of the second row. 6T's Fetu Taiwa, ex-professional rugby league player, turning his hand now in the sprint car ranks. On the outside of the second row, third row is Robinson and Evans. Green is waving, we're underway. And O'Callaghan out to a huge lead early in this one. Wings it into 1 and 2, shut the gate, he's gone out of here, but we're too wide down through the field. Looked like the king, Jason Scott, just checked up, and the 4 machine of Kyle Shearing did well to avoid contact. Matthew Anderson now getting after it, trying to chase down Sam O'Callaghan in the 49 machine. Robinson doing well ahead of Mark Evans. Big dust cloud at 1 and 2. That was a spin at the tail of the field on the previous lap. So it's O'Callaghan, Anderson, Taiwa, Robinson, Evans, Shearing, and Colvin round out the field. Jason Scott, rounds out the field. He's having a shocker. About to go a lap down now. So they've missed the setup on the 88 machine. A lot of smoke from the 8T of James Robinson. Just a little bit of an issue with the lap scoring there. Looks like race leader O'Callaghan, possibly no transponder or a defective transponder in that machine, but we'll work through that. So the 49 car, he's just put the 88 of Jason Scott a lap down. Slamming Sam O'Callaghan. He's hooked up on the gas as he shoots it down the back straight. Jason Scott now seems to have got the glue working under that race car. Holding station with our leader, albeit a lap down. Good battles right down through this one. So race leader now gets toward the back of Nigel Colvin, checks right up out of it. We're on the white flag lap, folks. O'Callaghan knows he doesn't need to overtake these lappers. He's checked right out of it and runs it to the checkered, slamming Sam O'Callaghan in the 49T machine. Lakeland Glass looking after O'Callaghan. As he runs another, what we would call an insurance lap, just to make sure that that one is in the books. So race order was the 49T of Sam O'Callaghan took out Heat 1. Next was the 16 machine, that's the local man Matthew Anderson. Then we went back to the 6T car of Fetu Taiwa. James Robinson. In the 8T had a good battle all the way with Mark Evans in the 98 car. A lot of smoke from the 8T of James Robinson, hopefully just a bit of a oil overflow or something of that nature. Only takes a little bit of oil onto the exhaust system, and of course you'll see the big smoke up. Track looking drivey though. Early on in this one, it looks like we may end up with a couple of grooves there as we see the bottom part of the racetrack started to go away. So we'll head downstairs, taking an interview with young Isaac Hodgson, the winner of Heat 1 in the production saloons.
Okay, folks, here we are down in the pits. As Steve just said, we're talking to this man here, Isaac Hodgson, who just won that production saloon heat. Isaac, mate, awesome. Obviously, track suiting your car just nicely.
Yeah, it is. It's quite slippery out there, but I drove well out there. It was pretty good.
Pretty good. So tell us a bit about your car. What sort of car is it? And a little bit about production saloons. Obviously, these things are really pretty much like road cars, aren't they? They've just been converted for racing. Yeah,
they are. My car's a Honda EK4. 1600, and yeah, you're pretty much allowed to run any rear-wheel drive or front-wheel drive street car.
It's pretty more popular though that the front-wheel drive machines are the ones that people seem to get, isn't it?
Yeah, because they just grip around the corners as long, like rear-wheel drives usually just slide.
It's no good if you're not doing it sideways in the dirt though, is it?
No, it's fun. It's really fun.
Absolutely. So any change to the car? I see you sort of taking a bit of mud off there, trying to lighten it up and get it going a bit quicker for the next race.
Yeah, just trying to get all the dirt off it so it doesn't weigh it down as much. And yeah, nothing really. Just the same.
Good stuff, mate. Well, hey, congratulations on that, eh?
Cheers.
Right, let's bring the cameraman over here a wee bit. Let's have a wee bit of a look at this car and have a look underneath the engine bay here. And you can see, folks, that this is just pretty much the same way as the road cars are. There's a couple of wee changes that are done there. He's got a nice wee setup there on the engine with its graphics and stuff like that. But this is pretty much a New Zealand road car that's just had all the windows. Let's come around here, Calv, and we'll just check it out here. Inside it, it's just had all the interior taken out. It's had all the everything, windows and all that sort of stuff taken out as well. And this thing is, yeah, you can even see in the back there, it's still got its original floor plan of the car when it was actually on the road. And not a bad wee machine this. Of course, as he was just saying, Isaac was saying, he's going to open the boot up for us too, Cal, so we can have a look in there. So as Isaac was saying, a lot of guys like the front wheel drive or rear wheel drive, it really just comes down. You can see here he's got his fuel tank in there, obviously a pretty strong looking one as well. Obviously you're a bit worried about going up in flames, are you, mate?
No, that's why we really have to have the firewall bit at the back.
Okay, so that's in case you get a fire, somebody rams up the bum of your car?
Yeah, in case you roll over so you don't get gas all over you.
So if I was a person that wanted to get into racing a production saloon, what sort of money would I be looking for?
Oh, well, this one especially we spent around about like 8k-ish, but if you're going like cheap, just, I don't know, probably like 2. 1K maybe.
Okay, it's I suppose. I mean, it just depends on your budget. We've got guys that have got cheap cars out there. We've got guys with more expensive cars. But of course, it's a lot easier if you've got some sponsors too. And I suppose you've got a couple. Looks like you've got Mag and Turbo. Who's your sponsors on your car?
We've got Mag and Turbo, Alcor Fabrication, Scales, and Full Noise Customs.
You love racing? Does it? You live for it?
Yeah.
How old are you?
16.
So you're just fresh out of youth?
Yeah, I came out of youth saloons, not last season, but the season after that. So this is my second season.
That's amazing, mate. You're doing well. And what's the aspirations? What are you going to do? Are you going to get into like a super saloon or a sprint car or stock car, super stock? What's on your agenda?
If I had the money, I definitely would. But probably once I start getting out of this, I'll probably end up going into drifting.
Oh yeah, so that's the wrong sort. That's Tar Seal, mate. Tar Seal's designed to get you to a dirt track, isn't it?
Yeah.
Good stuff, mate. Hey, well, we'll leave it at that. And of course, that was Isaac, and of course in his production saloon. And let's have a little bit more of a look around. I think, Steve, it looks like we might have street stocks out on the track by the looks of things, mate.
That's right, Jace. So street stocks rolling out. The attention-paying viewers will notice that these cars are going the wrong way around the racetrack. So. Street stocks, the only grade in New Zealand that run the reverse direction and normal direction. So they roll out onto the racetrack, and the clerk, of course, will point to which way they're racing. So they do that in an effort just to keep the costs down, so the cars aren't purpose-built, set up to go anti-clockwise around the clay oval. So, of course, no stagger, no offset on these cars. And as Jace mentioned a little bit earlier, normally big solid Fords, Holdens. Used to see a lot of Valiants and that type of sort of older solid cars, but they've all become valuable classics now, and a little bit too desirable and expensive to smash up. Of course, full contact grade street stocks, so hence the front and rear crash structure on the machines. Jace earlier suggested that they're quite heavily barred up. I'm not sure if he was talking about the cars or himself, but they certainly are solid machines and built to hit. A couple of Japanese cars creeping into this category, so the Toyota or the Lexus Sora. We'll just take this opportunity, we'll head down and get an interview with Slammin' Sam O'Callaghan.
Well, Sam, of course we had to catch up before the street stock race started, but that's a goodie, but you'd be pretty disappointed if you didn't do that off the front, eh?
Yeah, no, off the front we sort of had to run away with it, and we did awesome track out there. The boys had the car set up, it was just on rails, so you're pretty happy with the run.
You going to do anything else to it to make it go any better, or do you reckon you got the max out of it for today?
We'll see what that track does if it slickens off a wee bit, but we're pretty good where we are now, so let's head up for the next one and see it again.
Absolutely, and of course we're sort of a Speed Shift TV tonight, and we're sort of telling people about, you know, the sprint car racer in New Zealand here, and a little bit different to those guys over there. You guys, what would be the maximum amount of shows that you do per year in your sprint car?
I think we did about 26 last year, so yeah, I think about the same number this year.
Okay, so and what do you do for a day job?
Builder.
You're a builder. All right, so not a professional sprint car driver?
No, not yet.
You're hoping to be one day though, eh?
Oh, we'll give it a go, yeah.
Absolutely. Tell us about your car. Chassis motor, just quickly.
This is Triple X, this one, and with a Shark motor. We just got it in this week. Normally we're running the Freeman Motorsport with Triple X with a Maxwell engine, but we just got this one down here tonight, just keeping it ready to go if we need it. Good
stuff. We'll come back to you. Then we'll go back up to stairs to Steve because the street stocks are underway.
Thanks, Jason. Great to hear from Slammin' Sam O'Callaghan, of course, a builder up there in Central Otago, and a bleedingly talented sprint car driver. Not a professional yet, as he put it. This one being led, though, by the 29D machine. That's Shiloh McCarty. Mitchell Lavender in the 555 giving chase, and as you can see, folks, the hitting and spinning well and truly happening in Heat 1 for street stocks. So Shiloh McCarty leading the way. Reds are on. It's got to be for the stricken 18D machine of Cody Finch down there at turn 1. So the Reds come on, all cars must stop. Back underway. Shiloh McCarty leading the way, but Mitchell Lavender in the 555 and Ben Jenkins now giving chase. Mitchell Lavender goes after the rear bumper for the lead. Down the back straight we go. First, second and third are together on the racetrack. Shire McCarty coming under the attention of Mitchell Lavender, who did get to the rear bumper but couldn't finish the job. So it's the V8 Toyota wheel to wheel with the 6-cylinder Falcons. McCarty drops down to third position, run wide over at turn 3. The two Falcons now. Mitchell Lavender in the 555, Ben Jenkins in the 345. Scotty Price in the fence over at turn 3. Looked like Craig Blackler in the 6. Corey Blackler, sorry, in the 6D put him in, and that was a horrific hit, a really, really solid one over at turn 3. Back to the lead we go though. Mitchell Lavender picking his way through the lappers. He's got Cody Finch, the young gun. Put him a lap down as the reds come on. That's for Scotty Price in the 56. Scotty was punished into the fence. We'll go downstairs.
Push the mute button off, eh? Just while we've got an opportunity to, just got a quick minute here. We've got never got the chance to thank your sponsors that look after you. Sam in your car, who looks after you, mate?
Yeah, obviously Lakeland Glass and Metro Glass have been sponsors since day one. And Queenstown Hardfull, New Road Civil, Valvoline. Obviously Kevin Freeman for helping me out with the drive, giving us a car every week to come do what we do. It's a pretty awesome setup we've got here.
Well, you got more than one car too, isn't it? Do you actually have two cars, one that Kevin owns and this one? This is your own one, isn't it?
Yeah, normally we drive Kevin's car and we're just getting this one set up to run a few shows down here this year, but we'll do War of the Wings and Kevin's 75, so yeah, keep it be good racing. A lot more cars normally for War of the Wings, so he'll push for those ones, yeah. New
Zealand champs at, I think it's Palmerston North this season. Are you planning on heading up there?
Yeah, we'll head up there, do the title at Palmerston North and then head over to Bay Park for the GP, so it'll be good.
Okay, Sam, well, we better carry on because we're about to go green again. Thanks very much for talking to us, mate. Congratulations on the win, and let's see what you can do on the next one, eh? You'll be off the back in the next one, are you?
Yeah, I'd say so. We have to go today.
Okay, back up to you, Steve.
Thanks, Jace. Great work, good timing. Full credit to the team here filming for Speedshift TV. We go green once more. Race leader is the 555 of Mitchell Lavender. Ben Jenkins in the 345, that orange and blue machine. Just can't quite hang with him. Shire McCarty in the 29. Pretty much the length of the straight behind. So it has strung out a little bit, but there's been some sizable impacts. None bigger than Corey Blackler in the dome, the 6D machine. He put Scotty Price away over at turn 3 at about half race distance as we saw the aftermath. The red wagon towed to the infield. So race leader Mitchell Lavender. He's got it all his own way at the moment. Comfortable lead. Ben Jenkins. Got a corner behind there. You see him in the back of the shot. Ben Jenkins normally goes really, really quickly in this reverse direction. Just struggling a little bit with the car at the moment by the looks of things. Mitchell Lavender though, no such issues. Fastest car on the racetrack at the moment. White flag lap, one to go for Mitchell Lavender in the 555. Ben Jenkins now under the white. Shire McCarty still running third place. Coming under attention from Shay McKenzie, so the final podium spot up for grabs in this one. But Mitchell Lavender runs it off turn 1 to the checkered. Mitchell Lavender in the 555. Ben Jenkins, good strong second. Shire McCarty led early in that one, brings it home in third position. Shay McKenzie, Will Brown, Jesse Helm. So the street stock heat 1 over and out. We're going to head down. Jason Scott, the king, Jason Scott in the pits.
Okay, folks, so we come down to the pits here. We're not talking to this man for his fantastic run in the first one, because that was a bit, maybe a missed a setup, or I don't know, your pit crew must be pretty average or something, Jace. But this is, of course, a series you've put together called the Southern Sprint Car Series. So tell us a bit about the series and why you've done it.
We've got a whole lot of new drivers that we're trying to get into the sport, and it's pretty tough for them to jump in the war of the wings or whatever. So we've got this new series, and there's two groups, and the second group's the newbies typically, and they get points, and the A group get points. So it's good racing all night, and they come together at the feature, and your points accumulated. And as of the last round, James Robertson, the first time he went out and won it with his points out of the B group.
I suppose it's pretty good because it's a very, very unique format. And how many rounds do you have, and where are you going to go from here? I think you more southern rounds, two races or two meetings at each track.
Yeah, two at Cromwell, Dunedin, and Invercargill, and one round's been rained out, so which is a bit of bad luck, but that's just the way life is. Yeah.
It was just the way the weather is sometimes. But of course, the car itself, obviously, you didn't have such a fantastic run. What are you doing to make it better for the next one?
We think we've got a dud bar in it, and so we're changing that. Something wasn't right. And the beauty about the series is you have a shit run, well, you're off the front of the next one, so we'll see how we go.
Well, I suppose you wouldn't want to disappoint yourself off that next one, would you?
Yeah, it could be embarrassing, couldn't it?
Absolutely. All righty, you got the good sponsors on the car too, Jace. Who looks after you?
Yeah, Edge Parts and Jackson's Orchard, Woodford Flooring Extra, Invercargill Flooring Extra.
Yeah, well, we're repping them as well. Look, on this shirt on this side here. Oh, well, Jace, awesome that you brought the series here to Beachlands, and of course, 13 cars, a bit affected by a bit of weather around the countryside that stopped a couple from getting here as well.
Yeah, a couple stuck on the other side of the bridge up the road, so otherwise it would have been a good night, yeah.
Somebody's just telling me about some jet boat history. You must have had a pretty good run in a jet boat over the years as well, have you?
Yeah, a long time ago now. Yeah, had some good runs for 15, 20 years, and but different game now, so it's what we do.
Now, of course, a lot of people probably don't know this, especially those people that are watching in, that you're pretty much the reason why sprint cars in the South Island are going so well. You got the shop, Edge Parts Performance. You put a lot of people into a lot of cars, and obviously you're quite passionate about the class, and in particular very passionate about Central Motor Speedway, to which you're also the promoter as well.
Yeah, it's Pricey got me into this 10, 15 years ago, and I sort of fell in love with it, I suppose, and meet such a lot of good guys, and they all become your mates, and you're racing and you hate each other on the track, and have a beer later on. What more do you want?
Absolutely. And of course, for those people that don't know, you're probably retired these days, but you're one of these guys that's got quite a few companies that are going on the go there that allows you to sprint car race. So tell everybody out there what you actually do for a living, Jason.
Yeah, well, I was a property developer and builder over the years, and had roofing company and all that stuff, but I've sort of had a bit of a sell-up, and semi-retired now, and concentrate on the race cars and building jet boats, and live off a few property investments, and that's what I do now. So
that's not so bad. I got hearing from the director that we should go halves in a gym, apparently.
Should be a big gym.
Absolutely, with some pretty heavy equipment, eh?
Yeah, dead right. Yeah.
That's before they put any gym equipment in there.
Yeah, that reminds me, Amy, that bet that you lost against me, wasn't it?
Oh, I think it must be getting close. All right, Jace, thanks very much for talking to us, mate, and once again, thanks on behalf of everybody here tonight for bringing the series here. Of course, you'll be back though, won't you?
Yeah, no, it'd be great. Thanks, and thanks to Beachlands for look, track's pretty good, wee bit slick there, but it'll come good, bit of cush forming, and good weather. Look at it.
Absolutely. That's how we look around the sprint car. Well, we got the opportunity to the 88T car, and I think this is a Triple X. Yep, Triple X chassis. So this is something that Jason's pretty much gotten into. A bit of oil up the side here, and you quite often see this in sprint cars and stuff as well. You see bits of smoke that get a bit of overfill on them, and you can see there's a bit of oil up the side of the car, so the pit crew's going to have to clean that up. That'll be a 410, looks like it's a Kistler engine, and she's got the big horsepower on this one. You'd be probably pushing around between 900 horsepower, and that 900 Jason's telling us at the moment. So obviously for those people that don't know what a sprint car, these things are just basically a motor with a bit of metal around the outside. The power to weight ratio is amazing, and for those that don't know, these are the fastest things on any dirt track in the world. These things are capable of some pretty serious numbers. Nothing for these guys to get around some of the tracks in 12-13 second laps. Just an amazing car, all adjustable. All this up here is adjustable. They can adjust the wing. You can do that while the race is happening as well. What else can you adjust, Jace? That's why we've got the opportunity to ask that question.
Oh, you sort of got to adjust your balls every now and again. when you get out by the wall. But
How do you get on with no balls?
I'm struggling out there, as you can see. Otherwise, the harder you go, the more they stick. That wing does everything out there. So if it's not going right, you've got to go a bit harder, and it'll come to itself, And that's all you can do on the track for adjustments. So yeah.
What about this front ring here? Let's have we look at this now. What a lot of people say that this is really just to stop the car from taking off. Like the front from lifting up. Is that creating downforce on the front tyres for you?
Yeah, heaps. Like if that wing's off there, you got no steering pretty much. It's real hard, and it's only a wee wing, but it does immense forces there in the front end.
Well, you've been pretty up there on modified racing as well, and they don't actually have this front wing either, so you don't actually know what the real differences are between having a wing and not having a wing.
Yeah, you definitely notice it with them. They got a bit more weight in the front, of course, but you definitely notice that wing's not there. So yeah.
Okay, so of course there's other changes you can make as well. Tyres is another essential part of this. You can change the size of them to make it either obviously for a shorter track or a longer track as well.
Yeah, tyres, compound, stagger's your biggest thing for how much you're going to make the car turn left. Less stagger, you go straighter, so fast.
So that's stagger is one tyre is going to be bigger than the other. That's the correct terminology?
It's like you're on the right hand side and I'm on the left.
Oh yeah. There's a lot of stagger.
It is. Yeah.
Alrighty. So, and anything else that you can tell us about the car and the adjustments you can make whilst you're racing? Can you adjust brakes or shocks or anything?
No, you can't really. You can get shocks that you can adjust in the car, but it's not advisable. Like you start adjusting things and the car goes worse sometimes. So, they're pretty simple cars. You get into a sweet spot and you leave them there, and if you're not like we are at the moment, we're changing everything to try and get it there.
Well, you just obviously had a bit of a bad run, like you said. You got a bar. That oil there, though. I mean, we just pointed that out. Is that a problem?
No, it's just sometimes when the oil's not hot enough, it'll spit it out because it's got to go somewhere when it's cold. So it heats up and it goes away. Usually, it's why they smoke a bit on the first race most nights.
Yeah, you see that quite a bit in sprint cars and stuff. Well, it's an absolutely amazing car. You yourself, no New Zealand title. You not normally travel to the north. Are you looking to do that this year or not?
No, we're not this year. Palmy's a great venue, pretty tough track for a sprint car driver, and we got Ray's 70 lap here, so I'm going to go to his birthday party since he's shouting.
It's a lot of laps because obviously he's a lot of years old.
Well, if he gets to 70 without having a heart attack, I'll be pretty happy.
Me too, actually. All right, folks, we'll go back up to Steve, and of course these guys that are, I don't know what's up, but we'll go over to Steve, mate. What's happening out there? Who's up?
Sprint cars, lights have gone down, Jace, and we're going to go green this time by. So front row, Josh Buchanan leads the field to the green. Green waves and we're underway. Josh Buchanan out to an early lead. Aaron Cleveland in the 9 car running second at the moment. John Seavey spins it round at turn 1 and 2. Caution will come on as Seavey in the 14. Stranded down there at turn 2. So Josh Buchanan leading the way. Of course, caution on lap 1 would normally mean we would go back to a full race restart. It'll be interesting to see how that one is judged. John Seavey in the 14 T machine. Just overcooked the Kumara down there at turn 2 on the opening lap. Turned it around. Beautifully presented race car. Powder line. Looking after that machine. Lights go down. We get underway again. So Aaron Cleveland in behind Josh Buchanan. We run to the green once more. Green is on and we're away. Josh Buchanan leads Cleveland into turn 1 and 2. Cleveland down low on the racetrack. Seavright's going round again, folks. Can he keep it running? Yes, he can. We're not going to go yellow this time. And he gets a round of applause from the infield. As battle on for the lead. Aaron Cleveland looking racy in behind Josh Buchanan. Seavey goes around again at turn 2. That's a 100% spin record. Race leaders though. Josh Buchanan, Aaron Cleveland. There's the 12T of Jack Brown, had a spin at turn 4. Oh, race leader goes around, folks. Josh Buchanan spun it. So they're all having issues with the slick part of the racetrack down there at turn 2. Josh Buchanan stranded on the infield now. Aaron Cleveland's the only car that hasn't spun, folks. And we're half race distance. Buchanan looking filthy with himself. He's Still under green conditions here, but Cleveland just checked out of it down the back straight. I don't know if that was a mechanical issue or whether he was unsighted to a light or a flag. So Jack Brown in the 12T machine, about to go a lap down by our race leader Aaron Cleveland. The 9T. Seavright's gone around again, this time at the other end of the racetrack at 3 and 4, come under caution. So we're down to 2 cars running on the racetrack. John Seavright really battling in the 14T car, unfortunately. Beautiful looking race car, powder line. Effectively gifted that lap back, so he was about to go a lap down, wasn't he? And takes the restart. Aaron Cleveland kicks off where he left off in the lead. Jack Brown in the 12 car getting to grips with things down low on the racetrack, sticking it to the pole line. Josh Buchanan took a push start under that caution period to rejoin the field in fourth position, tripping over my tongue there. So the B group putting on the entertainment for us at the moment with the Edge Parts and Performance Southern Sprint Car Series. Hope you're enjoying the show right across the USA on Speed Shift TV. Track certainly has slicked off at both ends. Bit of a one-lane deal at the moment. Aaron Cleveland looking upstairs as he runs to the checkered. Trying to get some drive up above the black part of the racetrack down there at 3 and 4. So Aaron Cleveland in the 9T machine. Sounds like we've got Jason downstairs with some more insights and knowledge, perhaps some interviews, so we'll go down and see what he has to say.
Geez, mate, I don't know about knowledge, but we'll definitely do some interviews, that's for sure. But here we've got Mitch Lavender here. Now, this is not Mitch Lavender's car, but Mitch is the guy that sort of drew the short straw to tell us all about street stocks and what they are. And, of course, Mitch, street stocks, for you, you've been in them for quite some time, but they're pretty much just similar to a road car, similar to a production saloon, but a lot more barring and a little bit more you can do with them, isn't it?
Yeah, a lot more bar work and a lot more less restrictive in the motors as a production.
Okay, and so I've just been told that you won the first heat as well, didn't you?
Yeah, won the first heat.
That's not too bad, is it?
Pretty good, considering the car was in half in the start of the week.
Yeah, you just said to me before that you've been working on it for quite some time throughout the week to get it back together ready to go racing.
Yeah, a few long days, working until about 10 o'clock at night, trying to piece it back together to get it here today.
Amazing. Let's have a wee look at the street stocker behind us now. Like we said, this is not your one. This is a bit of a unique one, this one, in the sense that it's a Toyota, it's a V8 one as well, it's rear-wheel drive, it's a Sora, this one. Not very common in the street stock ranks, are they?
No, not very common. There's only a handful of them around.
What do we normally see in New Zealand street stocks?
Normally see older Holdens, Commodores, Falcons, and I think that's about it, really.
Yeah, you don't really see you might get the odd guy that might have some Japanese thing floating around, like there might be a Dryden floating around the countryside that's got some sort of Mitsubishi, something rally art or something.
Yeah, we try not to talk about that too much.
A little bit technically challenging, isn't it?
It is. It's very challenging.
But these things here create a lot of controversy as well, especially with these big V8 engines. They produce some pretty serious horsepower and stuff. This one's not going to be going for the rest of the night, though. It's got a blown gearbox. But, you know, in your experiences, and you race a Falcon yourself, and, you know, is that your car of choice, or would you have one of these given half a chance?
I'd prefer to have a Falcon with a V8, but the Falcons are a little bit easier to source parts for and a bit more common in New Zealand, so that's what we try to use.
So tell me some of the rules around this. What's the engine capacity, the maximum you can go in? What other stuff do you have to do to be able to race a street stock here in New Zealand?
The maximum engine capacity is 290 cubic inch, but most of us just run like a 4-litre Falcon or a 3.8 Commodore, and mostly just get the car, bar it all out, and then get it ready for racing. and that's about it really. Not too.
There's not a lot you can do with them really on the chassis and stuff like that. They have to be the factory chassis, don't they?
Factory chassis with just a few extra bars, no plating, no extra bars upside the chassis to make them strong. They're pretty much just a road car with a few extra bars for a light contact.
But it's never like contact, is it? So, and of course, there really is no rules in relation to contact except no reverse spin. What other rules are applied to this class?
No excessive attacking, so you're not meant to hit a car and then put it into the wall or so, and no spinning cars backwards, like away from yourself. So there's a wee bit of a few rules, but not a lot of rules.
Now, since you're the winner of the first race, we better get you to thank your sponsors, of course, the guys that look after you. I know you haven't got your car in front of you, but let's see how good you are. Can you remember who they are?
Yeah, I'd like to thank LJ Hooker, Todd Engineering and Megan Turbo and Opry Paint Services.
Right, well, we'll grab our cameraman. We're coming to have a wee bit of a closer look at this machine here. Once again, this Toyota Sora. And once again, it's got the Toyota V8 in it. It's the quad cam job, as you can see there. Beautifully presented wee machine. Lots of grunt, lots of power. If you have a look at the bar work here on the front of the machine, this is where all the hitting is. We'll just get our cameraman to turn this camera around a wee bit like this, and you can see the bars. So they use, obviously used for hitting and stuff like that. Good chunky tyres. They can cut them and groove them however they want. In relation to that type of stuff, not too much. Everything's pretty standard in there. There'll be a couple of things to, like they've got a nice big steel wire rope here to hold the motor in, just in case anything major doesn't sort of move it out or come out of the car or do any damage and stuff like that. So you can see there at the front window side of things, it's a wee bit of a bar work in there. And if we come and have a look inside, you can see, much like the production saloons, I suppose the only difference here, they've got like a cell. If you have a look at the floor down in there, if we can get our cameraman in there, you can see they've got like a cell. That's not the original floor plate. That's sort of like a wee, floor that's been put in for them. And the rest of the car's pretty much the way that it's come out of the factory. So this one here is a V8 one. We'll get our cameraman to come over here. And this is traditionally what we would see at a street stock at Speedway. This is a good old classic Falcon here. Our cameraman's on the piss, excuse him. So that's a good old Falcon there, good 4-litre Falcon. You can see the rest of these guys along here. There's a big Holden station wagon down there. So these are the bigger cars, and they take more hits, not like the Japanese machines and stuff like that. They're very light and very fast, but if they do get hit, seriously, they get a lot of damage as well. Street stocks, Steve, that's probably something you're pretty into. Of course, one of the biggest class here at Beachlands Speedway as well.
Yeah, it's certainly a entertaining category here at Beachlands Speedway, Jace. Probably not a category that I would entertain the idea of competing in with some big, hairy and scary operators, Sam Cathro and Mitchell Lavender and the likes. They like to stir it up, especially with the newcomers in that grade. So,
hey, one thing I did notice, Steve, I don't know if you can see, we can spin our camera around here. There's a guy by the name of Daryl Ainsley. We did an Ainsley Memorial. Now it's filming into the sun, and right at the end there you can see the 57D car, and of course that's Daryl Ainsley's old saloon car that Graham Williamson used to campaign. That's going to be coming up very shortly, Steve, and a good field of saloons. I can see Phil Burgess has arrived down here. He's actually on his way to Christchurch to contest the Canterbury Champs, and of course the bridge halfway up the South Island's let go, and of course he's turned it around and come back again in his machine. So watch this 57D machine. We've seen Aaron at the Saloon Speed Week, Steve, and he had another car that didn't work so well. So I wonder how well he'll go in this one. What do you reckon?
Yeah, it's great to see that car. I did see Mr. Hypermac himself posted a thing on Facebook detailing where that Daryl Ainsley car had gone, and Aaron Andrews would be interesting to see that Hypermac car. Very, very well credentialed race car, and he certainly was quick in the old Falcon bodied car.
Let's have a wee look just while we've got the chance to, Steve. All the saloons that are lined up here, we've got Blair Finlay down there. We can see that Graham Williamson's got the big 21i. Of course, that's the Love Lady chassis that's here tonight, so there's a good field. We've got Ray Stewart just about to come past us. He's in a super saloon. We're going to talk a bit about those a little bit later on, but you can see here this is a brand spanking new car. It's about 2 weeks old, that machine there, the 34 that just went past us, and a brand spanking new Hypermax that's going to be coming out very shortly. Steve, we'll hand it back over to you, mate, and give you a bit of an opportunity to tell us what's coming up next.
Thanks, Jace. Good timing too as we go green with the youth saloons, 12 to 16 years of age, 1600cc maximum two-wheel drive, of course, and Nico Tahura leading the way with Shannon Simon to the outside. The 7 car of Savannah Simon now into second position. Harrison Brown moving into third position now. The youth saloons racing really, really hard as always. Nico Tahura off to an early lead. Savannah Simon running second. Harrison Brown in the 157 machine now coming under attack from Ryan Glover in the 52. So Nico Tahura with a 1 second lead. Savannah Simon up into the fence hard at turn 2. The car got right up off the ground, and that'll come to a halt, and the caution will come on momentarily. There it is now. So boy oh boy, I wonder if there's a replay of that one. Savannah Simon hammered into the wall really, really hard. The exit of turn 2. As Tahura brings them to green. And we're away. Nico Tahura leading the way. Harrison Brown got a good jump though and goes straight into battle at turn 1 and 2. Nico Tahura with Harrison Brown breathing down his neck. Harrison Brown from Riverside Speedway to our south down in Invercargill. A couple of hours up the highway to get to Beachlands Speedway here in Dunedin. He's racing hard. 3-car battle for the lead as we get toward the lap traffic here, folks, which always throws a spanner in the works, especially with, shall we say, some of the less experienced competitors toward the tail of this field. So Nico Tahura just takes his time rounding up the 193 of Alarinis. Great pitches bring you a couple of lanes of racing. So Nico Tahura now under real pressure from Harrison Brown. Brown all over the rear bar of Tahura as they round up Corey Andrews in the 57D, put him a lap down. Cody Andrews, correction. 8 laps the distance. We're halfway there. So it's still Nico Tahura. Plenty of blue smoke coming from the back of the wee Honda Civic. Harrison Brown with a big run coming off turn 2. Thinks about going to the outside. Nico Tahura goes through, and unfortunately, second position. Harrison Brown just tangled up in the lap traffic there. So Maddie Stewart, who was minding her own business, went to change lane after Nico Tahura had moved through on her inside, and unfortunately Tin Boy Harrison Brown tied up in that one. Hopefully no damage, and he'll take the restart back in position. So here we have it, Nico Tahura in the 75D. He's the race leader to the inside of Maddie Stewart, who just had a little bit of oversteer. I don't believe she deliberately changed lane like that, just a little bit of car control learning going on there, and it doesn't look like Harrison Brown's 157 machine too badly damaged. Did well, in fact, to avoid any real heavy contact, and Brooke Soper, again, just unfortunate. Fed it into the side of the Harrison Brown Honda Civic, and we had a wee car park there on the infield. So Harrison Brown, with a nice new dint in the left-hand passenger door, has taken his position back in second. So this battle for the lead is about to kick off. We go green once more. Harrison Brown immediately to the outside, and we're too wide for the lead of this one down into turn 1. Harrison Brown, well, the red mist may well have come down. He's hungry, is Harrison Brown, looking to wind that rubber band up around the outside of the racetrack. Nico Tahura just struggling a little bit with understeer by the looks of things. That's meaning Harrison Brown's driving off the corner straighter and faster, getting a good run, especially out of turn 2 down the back straight. Harrison Brown to the outside. We're too wide for the race lead. Through 3 and 4 we go. Harrison Brown again winding that rubber band up. Too wide under the control tower. Nico Tahura not giving up lightly though. Great racing at the front of this one, folks. Lap traffic going to become a factor once more. We're on the white flag lap though. Through 3 and 4, Nico Tahura, he's going to lead this one to the checkered. It's close, but Nico Tahura got there in the 75D machine. Harrison Brown fought all the way, did Harrison Brown in the 157. Looked like Alina Johnson. Shannon Simon was third. We'll head downstairs to an interview with one of the newcomers to the sprint car grade, James Robinson.
Okay, folks, here we are down in the pits, and we thought we'd catch up this man, James Robinson. One of the reasons why we've caught up to you, James, is you've had a fantastic start to this Southern Sprint Car Series, and I suppose for a bit of background about you, of course, you didn't really start in sprint cars. I think you've just about had a play in everything that's available, and what's brought you to the sprint car?
Well, I always wanted to get the sprint cars, and I suppose it was just a matter of slowly stepping up to get there. Yep.
Yeah, so let's go back. So you started off in what?
Started off in a production saloon, youth production saloon type grade when I was 13. Did that for 3 or 4 years, and then into production saloons for a couple of seasons, and then a strong career in street stocks for about 8 or 9 years. And then did a wee bit of 6-shooter racing, wingless sprint racing, while I was doing the street stocks at the same time, and then progressed to the saloon grade for 2 seasons, and then sort of jumped the gun and brought a sprint car.
Is this the class for you now? You're here to stay, or you're going to sort of muck around? Well, not muck around, but change between the different classes?
I'd like to stay here. It's a bit of a money game, but we'll try our best to keep at the top now.
What's involved? I mean, of course, let's let people know what you do for a living. So what do you do for a living?
I'm an engineer by trade, but I work in a wastewater treatment plant for a factory. So treat wastewater and irrigate it, and Monday to Friday job, really.
Is that right? And so you do this all on a wage. Obviously, you've probably got a bit of good help from your dad too, have you?
No, mainly myself. Dad helps out a wee bit with supplying a tow car and that, but pretty much mainly myself and another wee sponsor that gives us a bit of fuel money, and that's about it, really. Yeah.
So tell us about the car. So what chassis, how old is it, what motor are you running, what's the package?
Yeah, well, it's a Maxim chassis, around about a 2010 or 11, but it hasn't done that many meetings, maybe around the 12 or 15 meeting mark. It's running a GB 2000 motor. It's a sort of a Garrett motor, around the 820 horsepower, built by, freshened by Greg Hiddleston in Christchurch. That's good car. Handles well.
How do you afford to do it though? I mean, obviously, we've got a lot of Americans that are watching here tonight, and they don't know that. You'd be lucky if you guys do 20 meetings a season in the sprint cars and stuff. But how do you do it on a wage?
It's hard. You got to sacrifice a lot of other stuff in life.
Have you got a missus?
Yeah.
Well, that doesn't help.
She's cheap to run. It's good.
It's not so bad, is it? All right. So you just sort of make some sacrifices and save a bit of money and pump a lot of money into the car?
Yeah, that's it. Like, just put a set amount into my racing account each week out of my wages and do a few jobs for people and make it happen. And I'm sort of banking around 12 meetings for the season, so try not to get too carried away, but enough to give these guys a good run for their money, really.
Well, that's exactly what you're doing too, and of course there's been a bit of talk about how well you're going on the sprint car and stuff, and obviously street stocks you did very, very well in as well. No returns for New Zealand titles and stuff. There's a New Zealand title down here next season.
It has crossed my mind, but at this stage I want to just concentrate on sprint cars. Yep.
Good stuff. Good sponsor. Let's talk about those. Who looks after you?
Yeah, Shaw Street Auto, which is my dad's wee wrecking yard in Timaru. Friend of mine, Steve from Surreal Electrical, he gives us a bit of fuel money. And John Palmer in Timaru, in JP's Auto Shop, checks out rocker gear and does sort of a bit of mechanical stuff for us. So that's about it, really.
Well, thanks very much, James, for having to talk to us, mate, and best of luck. Where are you starting off the next one?
Grid 4 again, so mid-pack.
Good stuff. Well, best of luck at that race, eh?
No, thank you. Cheers, Jace.
Well, let's just go over here. Luke Shearing here. We'll just grab him for a second. Of course, we haven't seen him out on the track too much. Luke, sorry, mate, to annoy you. Watch your head. So tell us, the car, what's going on with it? It's not performing very well?
Yeah, it's not running quite right. We've had a full rebuild, so yeah, it's quite hard to get it sorted. It just wouldn't run right, just coughing and spluttering.
Yeah, Dean was saying that it was a fueling issue. Is that the case?
Yeah, it seems to be either a fuel issue or a spark issue. Pretty simple when you get down to it, but it's hard to find and track down. So
it's the most basic motors and basic things out there, but sometimes when you've got that wee problem, just trying to track down what the issue is your biggest concern, isn't it?
Yeah, not much testing to pinpoint it here, so it's pretty much straight get out onto the track and you're away racing. So yeah.
68i Luke Shearing. Tell everybody, Luke, what you do for a living, mate.
Diesel mechanic for a living, yeah, so done my trade, so fixed diggers and heavy diesel equipment, so yeah.
Well, you had some pretty good accolades that were handed to you recently as well.
Yeah, been over to Australia for all that, and yeah, so got Apprentice of the Year for New Zealand and went to the Australasian Championship, and it was quite a cool experience over there, so yeah.
Congratulations, mate. Well, are we going to see you out tonight? Are we going to get this sorted out?
Hopefully. All going well, we'll keep trying to figure it out and go out again and yeah, see if it can run properly.
Modified sprints is where you started. You actually started production saloons, but modified sprints sort of where you gained your open wheel experience and stuff. Sprint cars, is it where you're going to stay?
Yeah, sprint cars, obviously it's the pinnacle of the sport here, so it's pretty cool. I've worked my way to this. Yeah, pretty happy with it, and yeah, got the hang of the wing class with the modified sprints, and yeah, going to the sprint car, it's a bit of a step up, lots more power, and yeah, it's good fun.
Good fun, all right, good sponsors, mate. Who looks after you?
Yeah, we got Dean Shearing Contracting, we got Civ Right, and there's lots of others that help out, Young Engineering. It's been pretty good effort from everyone. Whole new car sitting here, so yeah.
We heard what you did to the last one. We won't go into that too much though, will we, Luke?
Yeah, a bit of a crash, but that happens in this sport, it's all part of it, so.
Yeah, righto. Hey, thanks, mate. Good luck. Hope you get back on track. Now, of course, before we break away to the Super Saloon racing, there's one person that's sitting at home watching this we wanted just to acknowledge, and he would really love to be here tonight. His name's Daryl Richards, and Daryl had a bit of bad luck over the course of the last couple of weeks. He's been in hospital, and he actually thought he was going to be at this meeting, and let's be honest, it's probably not a good idea. He's had some major surgery and stuff, and we here at Beachlands Speedway and everybody else that knows who you are, Hoon, we wish you a speedy recovery, mate, and I hope you're enjoying the racing, sitting at home in the lounge, probably with a beer in your hand with any sort of luck, and so get well soon. We look forward to seeing you back on track. And of course, Daryl, 76D, he races a street stock, which is usually a wagon, Falcon wagon, so speedy recovery to you. You'd know him pretty well, Steve, obviously old Hoon.
Yeah, certainly a big fan of Hoon Richards in the street stock grade. He's of course debuted that new BA Falcon over the last season and a half or thereabouts, and showing really quite extreme speed when he gets out in the clear. So
yeah, absolutely. Hey, we're going to let you get into the Super Saloon race. We're going to catch up with one of the youth saloon drivers, so we can explain that class to you guys. Hope you're enjoying the coverage here at Speed Shift TV.
Yeah, thanks, Jason. Brilliant coverage down there, mate. It's credit to you, and I hope everyone on Speed Shift TV thoroughly enjoying the coverage so far. So Super Saloons on the racetrack, similar to the Super Late models over there in the United States. A category unique to New Zealand Speedway, so these aren't late model chassis, they are New Zealand built Super Saloon cars. 434 cubic inch maximum cast iron blocks in these machines. Methanol burning, so aluminium heads, just the cubic inch limit, mechanical fuel injection or carburetted, so somewhere up in that 700-800 horsepower range. And 12 laps the distance. It looks like we're not going to go green this time by, so we'll run through the field. Front row, the 7D machine, that is Paul Simon. Outside of the front row, in a brand new machine, like as in 2 or 3 weeks old, the 34T machine, that's racing Ray Stewart. Terry Soper in the 8D. The 69 car is Ewan Shearing. Mike Verdona in the 25T machine, and Ricky Bolton in the 861. So a high quality field of 6 Super Saloons ready to do it in the dirt here at Beachlands Speedway. Green flag is waving and racing Ray Stewart to the lead. Ray Stewart with Paul Simon working on his inside. Terry Soper, though, cutting through the field. Mike Verdona likewise. Mike Verdona charges into Terry Soper. Drills him accidental, I'm sure, but absolutely pummeled him. Mike Verdona obviously missed his braking mark or had some kind of car failure. And poor old Terry Soper in the 8D machine. Well, boy, oh boy. From the car park came Mike Verdona. I think probably a car failure by the looks of the incident. Here's the replay. So Verdona in the 25T, he just couldn't pull the car up. It looked like if Terry Soper in the 8 car wasn't there, he was going to make the fence, would have been my observation. It could be a misjudgment on the part of Mike Verdona, but he's certainly an extremely experienced competitor. Right front tyre has gone down, of course, as a result of the contact. So drama early in this one. Terry Soper, I had a quick chat with in the pit area on my way up to the booth a couple of hours ago, and there was certainly a few zip ties getting attached to the right front area of the bodywork on that car, so a few more zip ties probably required to get him through tonight. Sign rider, of course, custom signs. Green is high, green is waving, and we're underway, so Paul Simon with a better start this time. Trying to get the job done on Ray Stewart. We're 2 by 2 through turn 1 and 2. Ray Stewart's car's hiccuped. And Ray Stewart, looks like he's got a left front tyre down. Has the 34T machine. Could be wrong on that, but he's certainly checked out of it. So at the front of this one, Terry Soper's hit the lead. He's got attention from Paul Simon in the 7 car. And Ricky Bolton in the 861, so they're going at it through 3 and 4 at the moment. Terry Soper logging custom signs and save money skips on that race car. Ricky Bolton in this season's new Pro X car, the 861 Gypsy Royal stud on the side of the Bolton Racing Team machine. He's looking racy as he looks to run down Terry Soper at the front of this one. Terry Soper. It's a Hypermac car. It's an ex-Ray Stewart Hypermac. Was the 34T. Of course, Ray Stewart moved the car on and upgraded to a brand new, what they call a Gen 5 Hypermac race car. Shane McIntyre, of course, Mr. Hypermac, builds these supremely competitive Hypermac branded chassis here in New Zealand for this grade. The Pro X, of course, Morris Cowling makes the Pro X cars, which were dominant in the New Zealand Championships last season. That's what Ricky Bolton in the 861, that's what he's got under him. It's Terry Soper doing all he can to hold off a hard-charging Ricky Bolton, who senses a checkered here. Certainly looks like he's got the faster race car at the moment. Gets to Terry Soper's inside through 3 and 4, and we're 2 wide to the stripe that time. 2 wide into 1 and 2. Terry Soper looking to run around the outside of him. The track's slick though, and he's struggling for drive as Ricky Bolton gets good drive off the bottom. Look how straight he's driving it, folks. Almost no slide on that car as he just tickles the throttle. Finds that drive down low on the racetrack. Terry Soper thinks that's a good idea, and he'll get down there as well. Found all kinds of drive off the corner that time to Terry Soper. Nothing happening mid-track and nobody trying anything out wide. It looks quite powdery up high at the moment. So the 861, Ricky Bolton leading the way now. He's the promoter here at the Rock FM Beachlands Speedway. Very high up in Speedway New Zealand as an organisation is Ricky Bolton, a long-time competitor, the whole Bolton family. The Bolton Racing Team across a wide range of categories, ranging right from sprint cars, super stocks, street stocks, super saloons, of course. White flag lap, so Ricky Bolton with an 1/8 of a mile to get round through 3 and 4. He goes now, Ricky Bolton is going to drive it off turn 4 and run to the check-in. Ricky Bolton in the 861 from Terry Soper in the 8D machine. Next back is Paul Simon, struggling for drive in that 7D machine. And the fourth and final finisher in this one, the 69i Hypermat race car of Ewan Shearing. So we'll just head downstairs. Jace has got yet another insight from the pit area. We'll head down and see what he's got to say.
Okay, folks, of course, we witnessed a youth saloon race before, and this man here, Nico Tahura, won the race, mate. Well done, 75D. And, of course, you're just telling me off camera there that this may be your last year in youth saloons and stuff, looking to go to something bigger and better.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, so tell us a bit about your car here. What sort of car you're running here?
An EG Civic, and you're not allowed to go any higher than 1600 cc's, so you're like limited to what you want to run and all that.
So how long have you been racing in this class for?
This is my 3rd season.
And have you been you're always at the front, the pointy end of it?
At the start I was just learning, but sort of found my rhythm this season.
Okay, so is it a really good way for you to learn how to car control and how to, sort of handle a car on the track?
Yeah, like it's good road skills and that for like when kids get their licences and all that.
So you think this is going to help you to get your licence? Yeah,
should do, hopefully.
Good stuff. So tell us who looks after you sponsorship-wise on your car?
My mum and dad, Tahura Shearing, T&L Motors, Forest Paint and Panel, and the grade sponsor Milford Holdings.
Good stuff, mate. Well, congratulations on that win, and best of luck for your next race coming up a little bit later on, eh?
Thank you.
All right, that's how we look at this car. Nico's here. This is, of course, as he said before, it is a smaller car. They're a maximum of 1600cc is all they're allowed. If you have a look inside this machine here, much the same as a production saloon. Actually, they are built to production saloon standards. You can see it's got its normal floor pan down there. Got a racing seat. Once again, all the interior stripped out on it. All the dash, and they just basically put the basics to lighten the car up and to make it go a ton better. They're pretty much on standard wheels, exactly the way as they come out of the factory. And really they're very limited to what they can do, but you can see that these guys are very competitive. This class, though, is very only unique to the bottom of the South Island. Nowhere else in New Zealand do they race youth saloons. They race youth mini stocks, but not youth saloons. And so this is very much unique to just Invercargill and Beachlands Speedway as well, right down the bottom of the South Island. Few driving forces in this class, so let's come around and have we look around here. You can see there's some pretty good cars on offer. There's a Honda Prelude. I'm pretty sure people in the States know what a Honda Prelude is. You can see that's a sort of a later generation one. Another one beside it, which I think is looks like a Honda Civic to me. And you can see all the way down the line there, all these cars that are all just front wheel drive 1600cc machines. And yep, awesome for these kids. Now they're aged between 12 and 16 years of age. That's what they have to be able to race in this class. Once they're 16 years of age, that's it. They've got to get out and they've got to go on. It's a very, very good way to feed new generation into the Speedway family. So a lot of these guys, and we can look at all the competitors that are racing in this day and age that are big names in New Zealand Speedway. They've actually started off in some sort of youth class, whether it be quarter midgets, whether it be youth saloons or youth mini stocks, and a lot of these guys go on to bigger and better things. People like Jordan Deere. I think even Mark Osborne started off somewhere way back in the day. So there's lots of people that have come through this type of class. So we encourage them quite a lot to perhaps, be their best they possibly can be, give them some media training and get them used to driving these cars around the Speedway tracks. And Stephen, mate, obviously this class, it's a fantastic class, good feeder class and enjoyable to watch at times.
Absolutely, Jace. It's full credit to Riverside Speedway down there for coming up with the category. Of course, there is an existing youth grade in New Zealand, youth mini stocks, which would become a little bit difficult to get bits for. They were using an old 1200cc old Nissan Datsun engines and old Toyota engines, and of course just really hard to get the parts for, and the cars were starting to get a little bit
that also
expensive.
happens in other classes too, Stephen. I mean, we look at street stocks, for example. You know, we talked about Holdens and Falcons, and of course, not up until recently weren't allowed fuel injection. They are now. You know, so the things are changing with the way that cars are developing and the way they are. Won't be long before we'll see electric street stocks out here, will we?
Yeah, look, I shudder to think, but you did right. I mean, time moves on. It wasn't many years ago, Jace, where the street stock field consisted wholly and solely of HQ Holdens and XY Falcons and the like, Valiants and stuff. They're all valuable $60,000, $80,000 cars now. So,
well, there's a lot of guys out there, I believe, that raced 68 and 67 Falcons and thought to themselves, what was I thinking? Absolutely. You know, so it's pretty much like that. But this class here, the youth saloons, mate, it's definitely the future of our sport. And yeah, I mean, we're starting to see some superstars already coming through the ranks as they, you know, sort of close off their youth saloon career.
It really is great to see. As you touched on, some of the superstars of our sport started off in a youth grade, and as the young Nico Tahura mentioned before, he might have learned some tips and tricks to get his driver's licence. So I hope he doesn't drive that quick on his test. I'm not sure they'll have him the
Imagine the driving instructor with a handbrake slide round, you know, around the corner. So tell me, track. I noticed in your commentary during that race for Super Saloon starting to slick off, a bit of dust out there as well. What are we going to see with the track? Is it going to get any better? Is it going to get worse? What can we expect out of this track here at Beachlands Speedway tonight?
I think, Jason, we can expect a decent racing track once the sun's gone down. Certainly the breeze that's blowing at the moment, they're struggling to keep any moisture in the racetrack. The sun obviously beating down on it as well. But I feel like once the sun goes down, we get a little bit of moisture come out of the clay, and of course some of the races get a little bit more heated and a bit longer. I think guys will go searching up higher on that racetrack, and I think we're in for a treat later on.
Absolutely. Well, we're going to let you get into it. The saloons are up on the dummy grid. Well, sorry, they're up out on the track now, and we'll go and catch up with our Super Saloon competitor for when this race finishes, or we get a yellow. Back up to you, Steve, and hope you're enjoying your night on Speed Shift TV.
Thanks, Jace, and yeah, we'll take it over with the Otago Saloon Championships, brought to you by Meikle Transport. Great field of saloons. Just struggling a little bit, I believe, at the moment with Sunstrike. A couple of drivers rolling through with thumbs down. Could be a wee delay here. We'll monitor that one, but folks, we just look at, yeah, okay, green is in the air. We're going to go racing this time by, folks. So the Otago Saloon Championships, brought to you by Meikle Transport, about to get wild. 12 laps the distance. Let's do it. Green is waving, and Mark Newell to an early lead. The flyer, Raymond Phillips, all over the back of him like a rash at the moment. Raymond Phillips down low on the racetrack, couldn't get the drive, and the MV Motorsport 96 car of Mark Newell leading the way. Raymond Phillips low on the racetrack. They've watered the track. It's starting to get a little bit drivier down low at the moment. Mark Newell struggling higher on the racetrack, off two that time as the flyer Raymond Phillips looking for a way by. George Phillips in the 47 machine coming after him. And Phil Burgess in the 15 high on the racetrack, looking speedy at the moment. The 21 car next back, that's Graham Williamson. It's on at the front though. Mark Newell holding off the flyer Raymond Phillips. They run too wide into turn 1 and 2. Raymond Phillips, what can he do around the outside? Hooks up the big bags on the back of the 17 and snatches the lead. So Raymond Phillips leading the way now. The car looking very sideways down there at turn 4. Still drove off the corner nicely though, did Raymond Phillips. Sideways again at turn 2. Mark Newell holding down second from George Phillips. Phil Burgess, then Graham Williamson looking to the inside of Burgess there at 4 position. They run too wide into turn 1. Burgess the only car higher on the racetrack. We've got a spinner over there on the surface of turn 2. Yellows are on for that reason. That's the 77 car, Brodie Finlay. So yellow's out. We'll take a wee breather here as Brodie Finlay Tries to get the stricken 77D machine off the racing surface. Race leader is the flyer, Raymond Phillips. Looks like we are going to get a restart this time by. The lights are down, the green is in the air. Raymond Phillips takes full advantage and clears out early. Mark Newell, he was found wanting there. And he's dropped 8 or 10 car lengths early and drops a position down the back straight. They run too wide. That's George Phillips. Oh, with an understeer underneath. There's contact, there's a spin. There's a car park at turn 4, folks. Wow, boy oh boy, contact. Racing deal contact between George Phillips and Mark Newell down at turn 4 position. Looked like they just interlocked wheels. Here's the replay. We'll take a look on SpeedShift TV. Yeah, so an understeer from the 47 just pushed up the racetrack into the 96 car. And I believe at that point, a wee interlock of wheels spun Mark Newell around like a top. And kaboom. 3rd place, 4th place, 5th place on the racetrack, all in it. So that's George Phillips on the inside in the 47 car. So he wound the steering lock into it, just pushed up the racetrack. Touch, tangle, and spinning top went Mark Newell. Graham Williamson, Jared Verdona, and Phil Burgess, all part of that one. Nowhere they could go. Well, there'll be a little bit of a clean-up down there, I'm sure. If Jace was trying to tee up an interview, we'll head downstairs for an interview now with Jason in the pit area.
Okay, just while this yellow's on, we might catch up with the winner of the last Super Saloon race. I'm quite surprised I'm interviewing you for a win, Ricky Bolton, but that was pretty awesome, mate. Of course, that Pro X there hooking up just nicely for you.
Yeah, they said the Pro X's are a slick track car, and we actually had the full drive set up in it, nearly, and it was we seen how good it was. So I'm looking forward to seeing what it's like later in the night with the slick setup.
Well, yeah, I see there's a lot of work going on in the car at the moment with your pit crew and stuff, and that's exactly what you said. You're telling me that the car was trying to take off it in the front there.
Yeah, just with the drivey setup, it wants to slide up the track, so we're trying to get it to get a bit more side bite. So we're altering the back and alter some bars and some shocks and softening it up a wee bit. I've got to have a nice soft ride. I'm getting old now, so.
I had heard that. And, of course, you're a bit damaged in the old arm department as well. Apparently you had to go away and get some approval to be able to race tonight.
Yeah, I had to go and see Mr. Wang, the doctor, and Mr. Wang said my hand was fine, so that was great.
Oh, that's good. And, of course, let's talk a little about who you are, of course. So for those people that don't know, listening in from the States, you are the president of Speedway New Zealand. You're also a competitor and you're also a promoter here from Beachlands Speedway. So you're a man of many hats.
Yeah, really busy, many hats. No, I love it. I started in the sport when I was 18, and I'm now 48, and I'm still doing the sport. And I just love it. I think it's such a family atmosphere. It's about for all the whole family, the kids, everything. I mean, youth grades, the amount of people that are passionate about their sport. And it's the only motorsport really where the fans can walk right up to a driver and shake his hand and say hello, and they can look at the race cars. You just don't get that usually in any other form of motorsport.
The other thing, I suppose, too, is that you can also watch the whole race as it unfolds in Speedway as well, not like that other stuff that, you know, they sort of disappear for a minute odd and then they come back for about 10 seconds and, you know, so the whole race unfolds in front of your very eyes, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. I mean, it's right there in front of you. It's like a gauntlet when you're out there. It can be a sort of a coliseum feel. A little bit claustrophobic when these other colleagues of mine here are trying to rub panels or tear my wheels off, but no, generally I think that's the attraction, is trying not to smash your gear and make a right arse of yourself, but go out there and perform. And it's usually about you and the car and the team, and the teams get right into it, the crew, because they're pleased when they see the car win, because they must have done something right.
I think, if I had to be really honest with you, a lot of people come to Speedway not to watch the racing. They're waiting for that big piece of action, that big crash to happen, aren't they?
Yeah, I mean, we all do. We're all a little bit bloodthirsty, especially us Kiwis. We love a bit of biff and a bit of bash. I mean, I obviously did the street stocks and then the super stocks for years. And as you get older, you've got to start looking for a bit softer grades. But I think the wheel-to-wheel action now, people are starting to appreciate how much work goes into it, and money. There's a lot of money goes into it.
Well, that's the other thing too. I mean, of course, we've just said that you're the president of Speedway New Zealand, you're a competitor, you're a promoter, but you also have a day job as well, because you wouldn't be able to afford to race if you didn't have that day job. So, Ricky, just for those people that don't know, what do you do for a living?
We've got rest homes. It's a family business, Allison Enterprises. My brother, mother and father, we've got, we've got five rest homes now, so we look after the elderly. And we bring that country feel to the homes, and probably that family speedway part of what we have in this sport probably goes into the homes as well. And we've got a lot of people in the homes that are speedway fanatics as well, which is really good.
Absolutely, and of course, Big Brother's sitting at home watching you tonight. Has he been sending you texts telling you how you should or shouldn't set up the car?
I was just talking to him before actually, and he said, "Well done, good drive." Even Mum thought I drove quite well, but he'd just given me some advice on setup. So I've already tapped into his knowledge, and we'll see if he's right. If he's not, it's his fault. Remember that.
Well, Josh, we're keeping an eye on you, mate. And of course, speed recovery to Josh as well. He's had a wee bit of a reconstruction. Let's just say that.
Yeah, he had a methanol drum may have blown up in his face a few years ago, and broke a bit of a bone in his face, so he's had that repaired, which is something he's been waiting for years. So he reckons he's going to look pretty, but I don't think that's possible.
Well, pretty's probably he's not butch, he's just pretty. Hey.
Pretty. Yeah, just pretty.
All right. Hey, just quickly before this race starts, sponsors, Ricky?
Allison Enterprises, Gypsy Royal Stud and Toko Trailers.
Right, just before we break away back to the saloons, we're going to have a look at Ricky's car here. This is a Pro X chassis, this machine here. You can see all his sponsors. You can see everybody underneath here. Get over here, cameraman. And you can see them right underneath there getting this car all sorted out. Ricky said he didn't want to wear himself out, so he's got all the guys doing the work here. But this is a beautiful piece of machinery. New for Ricky. He's had a couple of runs in it. He's really starting to come to grips with it. So we'll go down the line, and we can also see there we've got a whole bunch of Hypermax, all different generations of Hypermax. These are all from Shane McIntyre, who's based himself out of Blenheim. They seem to be the car of choice. We're going to turn back over to Steve. I think the race has just started.
Perfect timing, Jace, as we go green and barrel down into turn 1 and 2. So it's Raymond Phillips leading the way from George Phillips in the 47. Then Graham Williamson, Phil Burgess having a good strong run. Young Blair Finlay in the 98 car next back. Then Dave McCallion. Matt Green looking at the back of Dave McCallion, but it's on for young and old at the front. You could throw a blanket over it. A King Single Duvet would cover the leading pair at the moment. Raymond Phillips. Back to George Phillips looking on the inside, coming out of turn 4. Will he have a crack into one? No, the door's slammed on him as Graham Williamson now buying into this fight in the 21i machine. Looking for something of a different line at 1 and 2 to get a little bit more drive off the corner. So it's the Phillips boys, first and second. Raymond Phillips leads cousin George Phillips. Good 2-wide action down through the field. Matt Green on Phil Burgess. Blair Finlay, though, running a good, strong 4th at the moment. Great to see the young fella, Blair Finlay. I know his father, Dave, well, and Dave's on the spanners on that new car. Just correction on my commentary, folks. Lloyd Phillips running the 47D machine, of course, normally piloted by George. Lloyd Phillips at the steering wheel tonight. White flag lap. White flag lap. Raymond Phillips is going to lead them to the flag. Lloyd Phillips in the 47 holds on for second. Good battle between him and Graham Williamson in the 21 car. Blair Finlay, a good, strong 4th position for Blair Finlay. The Finlay Motorsport team will be wrapped with that one. A bit of an insurance lap there for the flyer. Raymond Phillips gets the job done early in this one. Heat 1, Meikle Transport Otago Saloon Championships. So very similar to what we saw earlier with the Super Saloons, as Jace was alluding to in the pits. Same dimensionally as a Super Saloon, but these cars run pump gas, so no methanol, and to a maximum of 360 cubic inch cast iron block, cast iron heads on these cars. So naturally the 350 Chev, very common power plant, but there are some Ford powered cars out there doing it in the dirt. Very, very competitive racing, and full credit to Raymond Phillips. He got the job done in that one and leads the way for the Meikle Transport Otago Saloon Championships. Terrible to see Mark Newell. He was helped out of the race car down there at turn 4 and in the back of the High Ace van ambulance with what appeared to be a foot or an ankle issue, so we'll update you when we can. We'll go to a break. We'll be back with you shortly.
Hi, Scott here from X Factor Cars, Southland's V8 specialists, stockists of the South Island's biggest selection of Holden HSV, also with a wide range of everything Ford, FPV and classic American muscle. With an in-house finance specialist, we can tailor build a package to suit each and every budget, from no deposit, structured payments and up to 60-month terms. If we don't have it in stock, our team will search high and low to find what you want. Check out our testimonials, xfactorcars.co.nz.
6T of Gavin Hurring on the inside of the front row. That Toyota Celica. We're underway. Green waving. And it's Regan Constable. Isaac Hodgson charging into turn 1 and 2. Bailey Mitchell running in 4th now, and we're too wide further back. The 89 car of Brad McKee on the outside of the 6 machine. Steve Nicholas. Contact. Isaac Hodgson's been turned around down the front straight. Regan Constable dispatched him. It looked awfully deliberate to me from my vantage point. Surely not. Surely a unfortunate racing deal there. Isaac Hodgson. Well, his night has gone from so good to so bad. In the blink of an eye, and he can't refire the race car down there. So, race leader, the 6T machine. That's Gavin Hurring. Bailey Mitchell running second in the 78 car, running him down. Cody Glover's had a spin down there at turn 3. The yellow is on. Well, Isaac Hodgson was dispatched coming off turn 4. It looked like Regan Constable got into the left rear of the Full Noise Customs 199D. As we look at the Speed Shift TV replay of Cody Glover overcooking it down at turn 3. All on his lonesome, he threw it in hard, had a spin, slid up toward the fence, and lucky not to be collected by the 37D of Alan Kirk in that big Ford. Narrowly avoided the parked vehicle. Good reflexes for a 140-year-old Alan Kirk in the 37D machine. He's been around for a long, long time, and a good hard racer, Alan Kirk. So push truck's going to move in on Isaac Hodgson. Possibly just struggled to refire the car with maybe a battery or a starter motor issue, so a push start might get the job done and he'll join the action from the rear of the field. So the 6T, Gavin Hurring leading the way, Bailey Mitchell, then it's Regan Constable. Your top three at the moment, Brad McKee from Central Motor Speedway running in 4th position. So Isaac Hodgson to the infield. He's not going to take any further part in this one. Just take this opportunity, folks, the 50-50 raffle while we are waiting to get a restart in Production Saloons. If you have ticket blue 0087, you've won $280.50. 50-50 raffle blue 0087. Come to the bottom of the control tower to collect your money. Those on speed shift will be wondering what I'm talking about, but 50-50 raffle, of course, half money to the Speedway Club and half of the take to a lucky winner on the 50-50 raffle. That was blue 0087. As we hopefully look to get a restart next time by. Yellow lights are still flashing. Looks like Gary Cuff just receiving some instruction down there at the bottom of the control tower in the number 14. Beautiful scenes here at Beachlands Speedway. A good healthy crowd in the arena, great to see. Hope everyone's enjoying the action out there. Great racing so far tonight with sprint cars on the dummy grid ready to rock and roll again for the A Group's second heat. That's next out. Production Saloons at the moment though. Lights go down, we're going to get a restart. 10 laps the distance. We've got 2 in the books according to our lap scoring here, and Gavin Hurring in the 6T car leading the way from Bailey Mitchell. There's contact down the back straight. Second time tonight we've seen contact under yellow in the Production Saloon grades. Gavin Hurring leads it to green and we're away. Look at Regan Constable, seems to have a run on Bailey Mitchell. Fires down into 1 and 2. Bailey Mitchell though to the outside of Hurring. That's for the lead. Bailey Mitchell just gets squeezed up high side. And it's on now, 2 wide. Regan Constable to the inside of Hurring. Lead change and Bailey Mitchell wants part of this knife fight. Gets onto the bumper of Hurring. Unsettles him, but Hurring now looking for the lead. Regan Constable swept through on the inside while Mitchell and Hurring were going at it. This is inviting the 89 car of Brad McKee into this fight, and Cody Glover likewise. Cody Glover goes through on McKee, broadsides him out of the way, and they're 2 wide down the stretch. That's for 4th. A lot of rev limiter action that time by. That was the 85i car running in 6th position on the rev limiter. 2 wide for 2nd though. Look at Bailey Mitchell on the outside of Hurring in the 6T machine. Toyota versus Mitsubishi in the Production Saloons. This is allowing Regan Constable though to streak away. We're still 2 wide. Look at Bailey Mitchell running that top lane. Goes upstairs again, does Bailey Mitchell with a full-blooded bunny hopping understeer around the outside of the racetrack. Carrying good momentum though. Certainly putting on a show. They're still 2 wide, folks. That's the battle for 2nd we're looking at. Bailey Mitchell got a nose ahead this time down the back straight. Regan Constable, the race leader now, starting to get into lap traffic as Bailey Mitchell, well, he is absolutely sending it, folks, into 2nd place now. Goes in pursuit of race leader Regan Constable in the 63 as we round up a few lappers. McKee and Glover going at it. That's for 5th position. 4th and 5th, that battle. It's going to be White flag next time by, and Regan Constable, he's comfortably in the lead of this one. Bailey Mitchell now comfortably second, so the real battle is the 6 car and the 24D machine now battling for third. White flag lap. Regan Constable, race leader, just dealing with a couple of lappers there. But he's going to get the job done comfortably as Regan Constable runs off turn 4 for the final time to the checkers. Regan Constable in the 63 takes out Heat 2, Production Saloons. So Regan Constable comfortable in the end over Bailey Mitchell. Gavin Hurring got the better of Brad McKee. That was the battle, the heated battle for third position. Cody Glover was in there somewhere as well, credited with 5th on our timing and scoring. Put your hands together though, folks. The checkered flag parade lap for Regan Constable in the 63D machine. As the team cars do a bit of team celebrating, of course. Callum Stanley in the 85 matching machine. Sprint cars out the back. We'll see if Jace has got anything to inform us of in the pit area. So Group A for... Gee, it's hard to commentate with these battlers in my ears up here, folks, but hey, I do my best. I do hope you're enjoying your experience with SpeedShift TV and those in the arena tonight. Some great racing on show. Group A rolling out onto the racetrack for the Edge Parts and Performance Southern Sprint Car Series. A little bit more water going into that racetrack. It does need it right at the moment. Hopefully we can get a couple of lanes operating. The productions there showed, especially with Bailey Mitchell in that 78 car, that there is something on offer higher on the racetrack, but obviously a little bit of a difference in tyre compound, handling characteristics and horsepower. But the sprint car boys will go searching, and if anyone can put on a good show, it is the Edge Parts and Performance Southern Sprint Car Series. I'm going to take a little bit of a breather. I'll be back with you to bring you that action momentarily.
Every day I wish for a time machine. Take me back to the day when the music and houses and people had style and beauty, you know, had style and beauty, you know. Every day I lock myself up and I try to figure a way back, but I'm stuck in a time of such ugliness, eating my time away. It's eating my time away. Taken those times away. I guess this would be the way. There's no time for beauty, they've taken those times away.
me, back again here at the Rock FM Beachlands Speedway, Dunedin, New Zealand. Those in the arena know full well where we are, but of course we're live on Speedshift TV to the United States. I hope everyone on Speedshift enjoying the show. This here will be a little bit more to your taste. Sprint car action with Group A, second heat for the Edge Parts and Performance Southern Sprint Car Series. So if you're new to New Zealand Speedway, just put a little bit of context on things here. So the South Island of New Zealand has a premier sprint car series called War of the Wings, and Jason Scott has put together this series as a little bit of a gap bridger to get some new fellas into the sport and not have to quite travel as much, so a little bit more local, a little bit lower level, but still Edge Parts Performance, naming rights sponsor of this series, and I'm told there's $40,000 prize money across the series, 6 rounds this series, and brilliant racing on display. This is the third round. Of course, our friends in the United States on Speed Shift, if you're a sprint car fan, you will have heard of Michael Buddy Kofoid, young fella out of California, running sprint cars and midget cars of late. He is our current New Zealand sprint car champion. He came down last summer and cleaned the floor with our sprint car talent here in the South Island of New Zealand. Of course, Buddy Kofoid picked up a Keith Coons Motorsport gig to run the Chili Bowl and selected USAC midget car events. He's been running a sprint car in the Ohio region, I believe, and All-Star Circuit of Champions events, selected World of Outlaw events. So the young fella possibly making a return to our shores this summer here in New Zealand, possibly, hopefully, to defend that 1NZ. Of course, it's no easy task down here in New Zealand. The cream rises to the top in our sprint car ranks. You will have heard of Michael Pickens, professional midget car sprint car operator, does a lot of racing in Australia and in the United States. He's run multiple A-mains at the Chili Bowl over the years, Turkey Night Grand Prix, a feature runner many a time, Michael Pickens. So Jason Scott in the 88 machine running off the front row. Nigel Colvin in the 42. The 4 car is Kyle Shearing. And there's James Robinson. Jace caught up with James Robinson in the pits a little bit earlier in the night. He's in the 8T machine inside of Mark Evans on the 3rd row. Back we go to Fetu Taiwa on the inside of the accountant Matthew Anderson in the 16 car. Rounding out the field, slamming Sam O'Callaghan. He was your Heat 1 winner. Green in the air, and we're racing, and it's Chester Colvin in the 42 car. Looking to the inside of Jason Scott, can't get that done. Jason Scott out to an early lead. So it's Colvin in the 42, then Shearing, Robinson, Mark Evans working on the inside of the accountant Matthew Anderson. Anderson moving through the field at the moment. Just couldn't get the drive coming off turn 2 that time. Slamming Sam O'Callaghan looking upstairs, trying to get something happening high and wide on the racetrack. But Jason Scott, he's checking out of this one with a 15.0 second lap. He's on the money. Right up high, round 3 and 4. Great to see Scotty in full flight. A little bit lower at 1 and 2, but still up on that cushion. That is building, especially at 3 and 4. Look at this, folks. Throws it in deep, gets right out by the wall through 4 wheel stands. Down the front straight away does Jason Scott. We look back at Chester Colvin doing all he can, holding off Kyle Shearing. Robinson now under attack from Matthew Anderson. Just checked up at turn 2. He's gone terminal. Oh, race leader's gone around, folks. Jason Scott. He's had a spin, and Nigel Colvin takes over the lead. Boy, oh boy. Jason Scott, the king, not going to plan at the moment. He's dropped back to 4th position. Race car looked fast. He was up high and wide. He spun again, folks. Jason Scott's gone around again. There's contact. Unfortunate contact. It looks like the accountant, Matthew Anderson, has jammed it in on the spun 88T machine. Damage to both cars. Well, from hero to zero in 360 degrees, Jason Scott was leading the way. Overcooked it at 4, spun to the infield, kept it running in 4th position, spun again on the next lap. So Jason Scott will be giving himself a wee tune-up mentally over that one. Nigel Colvin now, race leader in the 42 machine. Nigel Colvin, big improver over the last couple of years. Sun getting really low. 10 laps the distance. Green in the air once more. Nigel Colvin. His Christmas has come early. He's been gifted the race lead. Jason Scott to the infield. And Kyle Shearing now snatches the race lead away. Robinson charges in on Colvin. So Colvin now in 4th position. Slamming Sam O'Callaghan up the inside. He's in 2nd. Started from dead last. Did Sam O'Callaghan, the builder from Central Otago. So Kyle Shearing leading the way. The 8T of James Robinson. Working hard on the outside of Colvin. Good 2 wide action now. The track is coming 2 lanes. Colvin on the inside. Colvin coming back at O'Callaghan. Slides it in there, slick in the middle, but it's drivey down the bottom and it's drivey up the top at 3 and 4. Will be white flag next time by Kyle Shearing. They won't catch him. The battle's for 2nd, and here it is. Colvin on the bottom of the racetrack. O'Callaghan round the outside. Robinson round the outside. 1 to go, folks, and it's all on for 2nd. Kyle Shearing knows nothing about that though. He's checked out. He's won this one as he rounds 3 and 4. Look at Colvin. Look at O'Callaghan. Running to the line, and it's Colvin that gets 2nd. O'Callaghan 3rd. Brilliant racing between those two. Wheel to wheel, bar to bar. Great to see Nigel Colvin get one over Sam O'Callaghan. Well, that one had it all, folks. Jason Scott checked out early. Just overcooked it out of the lead, down at 3 and 4, and then once more, 1 lap later. 2nd time, though, contact was made with an arriving Matthew Anderson. So 2 of the heavy hitters scoring DNFs out of that one. They'll be starting the feature race from deep-ish in the field later tonight. Jason Scott especially now, he's had 2 shockers.
Okay, folks, we're down here in the pits and we wanted to catch up with Dean Shearing, of course, Luke Shearing's dad. And there's all sorts of problems with the car, but fingers crossed you might have it sorted out now.
Oh, I hope we have. We're talking to the engine builder in Christchurch. He seems to think it's spark. We've changed a couple of things. We'll try it. After the impact in Cromwell, she's had a fairly big shake-up, so we're hoping.
It's a fully reconditioned engine too, isn't it? It's all been redone?
Yeah, it's a brand new motor. Hiddleston Racing Engines in Christchurch, it's his motor. The whole car is brand new.
Must be bloody frustrating though for you guys. I mean, obviously you've hauled it up from Invercargill, and really haven't done any laps in aggressive nature at the moment.
No, but I dare say when he gets it going, it'll be aggressive.
Absolutely. Tell us about the car. I mean, where did it come from? What motor? Where did this all come about?
After the big impact in Cromwell, we kindly. 2 businessmen, John Severite and Lloyd Phillips, got together and supplied the frame for us, and there was nothing wrong with the motor. We had to get another diff, of course. Just steering components were all mangled, and so it was pretty good. Thanks out to those guys. It's really
absolutely. We better let you go because they're going to try and push the car out and do a couple of laps to try and see if they can get it to go.
yeah, I better go. He might sack me.
Absolutely. Hang, just before we break away, we'll just grab Cole. Cole, fantastic win, mate, for you. You must be pretty happy that one. That wee bit of a break might have helped you out a wee bit there.
Yeah, no, it was pretty good. Yeah, there's not much out there. Just got to use your head and slow it down a bit. Yeah, on the corners, slow down. It's a good track on the straights. Corners are kind of there. It's just, hey, everyone's got the same track.
Well, I see there is a couple of lanes out there though, and people are pretty keen to go and have a wee, look upstairs, and look like there's quite a quick line downstairs as well. With Nigel Colvin, Sam O'Culligan having a great battle. But where did you find that you were best settled? Because you drove away from the rest of the field.
Yeah, probably just getting the drive on the straights and then just slowing it down on those corners. It's boring to watch and it's boring to drive, but you've just got to slow it down that corner. Hey, if you're shot up high, you're letting everyone come in your back door, and there's going to have to be someone with a lot of talent to hold it and go around that top wall when there's not much there.
Absolutely. Now, we're talking to a lot of people about what they do for a living and stuff like that, and about their cars. So quickly, tell us about your car, what chassis, what motor, and how it'll come about for you, this particular deal.
Yeah, this is a new car for us this year. It's a Maxim. We've always ran Maxims, so we're just changed it out. There's not much difference in the cars, really. We bought a motor in from Aussie, a KRE, and we love it. It's a good thing, and it's another 60-70 horsepower more than we usually run, 840, but it's not everything. Like tonight we're gearing it down because it's actually got too much grunt. So,
good position to be in.
Yeah, it is. So
you yourself, what do you do for a living? And we're just trying to show these American guys it's not, we're not doing 70 races a year. It's you got to get up on Monday morning and go to work so you can afford to run this beast.
Yeah, sadly that's the way we are. It's going to be 2 or 3 weeks between a race. I own an earth moving business, got a couple of guys working for me in Central Otago. It's just really fun. It's Saturday night fun, and that's all we really are, Saturday night races, and we love it, and there's a great crew of people here, and yeah. So.
It's a very long history of Speedway with you. By memory, somebody told me you started off in bikes and stuff.
Yeah, I started off in sidecars, and that was really good, but a few crashes and it hurts a wee bit too much, so jumped in. I had a saloon done a saloon for about 6 or 7 races, and then year off, and then jumped in a sprint car, and I really enjoy it, and yeah, it's good.
Wee bit of a movie star there for a wee while as well. There might be a movie called The Burt Munro that you might have made a bit of an appearance in as well.
Yeah, the trouble is they didn't want me to go in any other movie, so I had to go back to work.
It's a bit shocking, isn't it? Okay, so that's awesome, mate, and hey, well done on the win. What change are you going to make for setup of this one?
Just tighten the car up a lot, really, and just going to be all throttle control. I'd like to thank Dig at Earth Moving. That's our business. We put a lot into the guys, give a great help. They helped us out today. Widespan Sheds, Central Otago, they've come on board this year. And Michael Stewart, he's always been on board with us painting the car and that, and does a great job. So these people behind the scene, it's great.
Absolutely. Well, hey, well done, mate. Awesome. And let's see what you can do in the feature coming up a little bit later on too, eh?
No, perfect. Thanks very much. Thanks, Jason.
All right, mate. Cheers, man. Thanks. Okay, folks, we're going to go down and check out a couple of things that are involved in New Zealand Speedway. We're going to go up onto the tower very shortly, show you the starter and the referees and stuff as well. We might drift down and downstairs as well and have a look at the track and see what these guys are talking about, how it's a bit slick in places as well. We might get Steve's input into that while we're doing that as well. And heaps still to come here from Beachlands Speedway. And for all those viewers on Speed Shift TV.
Back up here with me, and green is in the air. Youth Saloons coming round to face the starter. Very slow run to the green. But we're away. It's the 57D machine of Cody Andrews out to the early lead. Tyler Kelk making it 3 wide through the middle into turn 1 and 2. Tyler Kelk now runs into second. Nico Tahura, there's a melee in the middle of the field. It looks like Harrison Brown, Shannon Simon and Nico Tahura making hay while the sun shines. Elena Johnson making big ground. Tyler Kelk now to the lead. Maddie Stewart running in second position. It looks like Nico Tahura and Shannon Simon, though, will round her up through 1 and 2. As will Harrison Brown as they head down into 3 and 4 this time. Maddie Stewart in the 828. She actually holds on to third position at the moment, just struggling to get that machine through 3 and 4 nicely. So Tyler Kelk in the 48 car leads the way. Difficult conditions at the moment here at Beachlands Speedway. The sun very low, right in the driver's eyes as they run down the front straight towards turn 1 and 2. Tyler Kelk coming under increasing pressure from Nico Tahura. That's going to be the battle for the lead very, very shortly. And then, of course, the dreaded lap traffic will come late in this one. 8 laps the distance. Nico Tahura now getting very close to a challenge for the lead on Tyler Kelk. Tyler Kelk holding on to the lead, though, at this point in the 48D machine. Nico Tahura certainly looking racy. Won the first heat. Wants to take the second as well. As they get into lap traffic, Tyler Kelk chops down to the bottom of the racetrack, rounds up Cody Andrews in that 57 car, puts him a lap down. Nico Tahura just boxed in there, and that's let Tyler Kelk off the hook, so to speak. Tyler Kelk now with a decent half-straight lead. The gap's gone out at 2 seconds. It can happen though through the traffic. Harrison Brown and Shannon Simon battling for third place now, trying to pick their way through the traffic down the back straight. Race leader Tyler Kelk doing a good job of it though. White flag lap. Tyler Kelk, one more time round the quarter mile for Tyler Kelk in the 48 car. Down into 3 and 4. Again, lappers in front, but it's not going to affect it. Tyler Kelk in the 48D machine takes heat 2. Nico Tahura ran second. Third was Shannon Simon. I believe third may have been Harrison Brown in the 157, running no transponder. Shannon Simon in the 26 ran fourth. Elena Johnson looked like she passed a lot of cars from the rear of the field to run about 5th at the end of that one. So Tyler Kelk, thoroughly deserved Heat 2 victory for the 48D machine of Tyler Kelk. Custom signs on the front of the car. Beautifully prepared Toyota. Sounds like we're heading downstairs to Jace for an interview.
Okay, folks, here we are, and we're a little bit different this time. We're on the tower with a man that's, I think he won the 1927 Super Steam Train Championships or something, but it is Wayne Andrews, and of course, you're a very important person these days. You're pretty much the person that's running the meeting.
Yeah, well, that was actually 1928 that I won that, and that was a Model A, not a steam train. But yeah, we look after the competitors here, make sure the meeting runs smooth, make sure they're staying and doing what they're supposed to do on the track. They're not pushing, hitting, doing bad things to each other, so we sort of look after them a bit.
So I noticed you've got a two-way communication with someone out there. Obviously, you're the person that's making the calls. What if somebody's naughty? What happens?
Oh, well, we bring them in and we tell them off and deal with them. They can get a fine, they can get disqualified, they can get relegated places, depending on what they've done.
Okay, so and what you've had a very long history with speedway racing as a competitor. Your name is synonymous with Super Saloon racing over the years as well. I always remember that pink Ford Sierra used to buzz around here. Do you ever miss the racing? Is it you know, like you're up here doing this, but is it hard to watch it? Would you rather be out there doing it?
Oh, well, the age, Jace, you get to a stage where it just gets hard to get in and out of cars, and you get in the road of the young guys, I think, when you get a bit older. So sometimes you have to call it quits and sit and watch it. But, watching it's great, and doing this job, putting something back for the time that I got out of Speedway is really great.
There's a lifetime friends, there's a whole heap of things you definitely get out of Speedway, but you're still very much involved. Your boy, obviously Aaron Andrews there. I just noticed that you guys now taken possession of the ex-Ainsley Williamson saloon car, the Mustang there.
Yeah. Well, we've got 2 or 3 cars sitting in the garage that Aaron drives. We're just taking that over. He's had 2 starts tonight and 2 not gone. I don't know what's wrong because I'm up here and he's in the pit. So there's something wrong with it, obviously. We worked all week to get it going, but it's not running yet, obviously. He gets out there and then pulls in. So it'll have a wee problem somewhere that they'll be working on.
Is it a bit frustrating though that you can't be out there with them and giving them the setups and the help to get the car performing?
Oh no, they do all that. They've got that under control now. I just talk to them about what they're doing and what's happening, and they go and race it. It's, I'm the old one. They don't listen anyway.
They don't listen to me either. I run a business and they don't care about me. I just hold onto a microphone and talk a lot of crap. Okay, so, and of course, I suppose it's you're heavily involved in saloon car racing. Big season coming up. Can we expect to see you guys up at the New Zealand title at Huntly with the saloon car?
Yeah, hopefully Aaron's going to get up there and go good. He had a good run last year. He went up and done that in the Grand Prix and just missed out on a place in it. So, yeah, he'll be up there again having a go, see if we can get better up.
Well, Wayne Andrews, thank you very much for talking to us, mate. And I think on behalf of everybody that's watching tonight, we appreciate everything you've given Speedway over the years, both as an entertainer and also what you're giving back to the sport now. So on behalf of everybody, thanks very much, mate.
No problem. Thank you, Jace.
Okay, now we've got the sprint cars about to make their way out onto the track. Now, just remember, folks, this last race that these guys had was a bit average, let's be honest. But what you got to remember, this is the B group. So these are the guys that are pretty much brand spanking new to sprint car racing, and they're just trying to learn how to control a car, how to get a sprint car around. Quite interesting, isn't it, Wayne?
Yeah, it certainly is. Yeah, these guys they're learning and they're getting better. Yeah, when you look at them, that's a hard job out there.
Absolutely, and of course these guys are, there's a whole heap of skills. Like you look at John Severite, who was in the 14 car. He's only been racing for, I think this is maybe his third or fourth meeting, and never ever raced Speedway before. But in typical John Severite fashion, balls and all, he's into it and having a lot of fun out there as well. Aaron Cleveland's been around a long time in the 9 car, but he just sort of comes out part time. You don't see him a lot. There's other guys out there, of course. So we've got the young Buchanan lad. We'll catch up with him after this race here, and he's a talented driver, especially when he was racing 6-shooters and stuff like that. So this is a talent that's going to come to the fore over the next couple of seasons, so watch out for this guy. So we're going to hand it back up to Steve, that's going to look after these sprint cars, and very entertaining race last time, Steve. We'll be looking for something a bit better now. The track's maybe getting a bit better?
Yeah, I think as the sun goes down, Jace, the track will come right. I think down at 1 and 2, it's already got a little bit better from what I can see up here, but the proof will be evident, in a few moments' time when these boys get up and away. As you mentioned, Jace, being the B group with the newcomers, we can't expect these guys to be world beaters, and as you touched on, Josh Buchanan went really well, Aaron Cleveland really well, and obviously John Severite struggled a little bit, but look, he's never raced a Speedway car before. He's brand spanking new to it, and he'll get the hang of it. The other point of interest in this one, the 68T machine of Luke Shearing. You spoke to them down there about their issues, so hopefully it looks like the car is rolling under its own power now, so hopefully that misfire or stutter, whatever was going on, has been cured. Apparently a spark issue, so a weak spark or a spark breaking down under load, causing that misfire and backfire. It'll be interesting to see how Luke Sheeran will go. We heard the warning from his crewman down there that there'll be plenty of aggression if he does get up and rolling in that 68T machine. It's a young fella out of production saloons originally. Moved through modified sprints, what those on Speed Shift TV in the States would know as Lightning Sprints. And he was very competitive in the wee Lightning Sprint car. Great to see young new blood in sprint car racing. I've cursed him there, folks. The 68T machine of Luke Shearing pulls to the infield. So something not right under the hood of that car, and he's looking fairly frustrated in the cockpit, but I'm sure they'll get on top of it. Luke Shearing in the 68T machine. Riverton Farm drainage on the front wing. Greens in the air. We're going to be racing this time by Josh Buchanan. He's going to start clear of the field in the lead. Green waves, and we're underway. Josh Buchanan leading the way. The 12 car of Jack Brown running second, Aaron Cleveland third, John Seaveright in the 14 car. Trying to drive it nice and straight is Seavey in the 14, looking good down through 3 and 4. Josh Buchanan running down low on the racetrack, checking out Jack Brown in the 12. Looking comfortable ahead of Aaron Cleveland, who appears to have his hands full in that race car this time by, does the 9 car. Certainly a little bit of dust flying at 3 and 4. Obviously the sun's still well and truly on that part of the racetrack. 1 and 2 beginning to be quite nicely shaded. To my untrained eyes, it looks like quite a lot of drive off turn 2 as opposed to the turn 4 exit. Josh Buchanan up on the wheel in the 43T car. Untouchable in this one, comfortably quicker than Jack Brown. Best lap time of a 15.5 for Buchanan. That bests a 15.84 for Brown. 10 laps the distance. 3 to run. So we have a look at Jack Brown running through 1 and 2. Certainly a shiny, slick part over there at turn 2. White flag this time though for our race leader, Josh Buchanan. In a somewhat uneventful sprint car race here. Group B, Heat 2. For the Edge Parts and Performance Southern Sprint Car Series, Josh Buchanan runs it to the checkered. Comfortable victory. Looks like Aaron Cleveland's going to run second. Jack Brown had a spin on the final lap. So Cleveland second. Seaveright runs third. And rounding out the field Jack Brown in that 12 car, who spins over there at turn 2 and now throws a few donuts trying to get himself back underway. So that's the second round of heats out of the way for the sprint cars. Once again, unfortunate scenes there with Luke Shearing, that 68 car, just being plagued by a bit of a niggly mechanical issue. I think we're going to go downstairs to Jace, who's going to go and do a bit of a clay inspection.
Okay, so we're down here on the track and we're just having a look at the surface at the moment. We better talk about it online, and also we better talk amongst the drivers, and we can sort of see that even though it looks quite soft at the top, it's actually very, very firm. They're trying to pump as much water as they can into this track at the moment, and definitely very, very hard, probably hard to drive on, definitely slick, but as traditional here in Beachlands Speedway, once the sun goes down, which is not too far away, we probably will start seeing the moisture come back up through the track again, and that's going to give us a wee bit of a drive, a wee bit of tacky service, and maybe these feature races that are coming up for some of the classes will just get better and better. So yeah, hard to say, Steve, mate, this track, I think it's probably going to stay slick for the rest of the night, but you know what Beachlands is like, eh?
Yeah, look, it probably will, Jace. They talk about the track sealing off. Once the rubber goes down on that surface, it seals off and you just can't get the water into it. So we will need to rely on the moisture coming back out of the racetrack later on. But
I'll tell you something for nothing, it's very dry up the top. You can actually see it's very dusty, and you know the moisture's definitely sort of in the middle and down very, very low, quite moist down below.
Yeah, right.
Does that sound right? Moist down below?
Something, Jace, you probably don't have a whole lot of experience with, but I'll take your word for it as street stocks roll out onto the racetrack. Good, healthy field of street stocks. Of course, running reverse direction. Looks like we've lost a few cars after that first heat. I don't see the wagon of Scotty Price out on the racetrack. Unfortunate, he took a huge hit over into the concrete wall over at turn 3. I believe it was the 6 car of Corey Blackler that put him in. So Scotty Price, he unfortunately is a bit of a punching bag in this street stock grade here at Beachlands Speedway, but keeps coming back to his credit. Jesse Helm on screen in the 21 machine. Well turned out. Street stock, the 21D Machine Radiator Services looking after that race car. Couple of cars to the infield already. I'm not sure what that's all about, but the looks like the 85 of Shay McKenzie and the 6 of Corey Blackler pulled up for a little bit of a conference there in the infield. So whether they've got car issues or some other reason for not partaking in this one. So the 555 on screen, Mitchell Lavender, Heat 1 winner. He's going to start this one from near on the tail of the field. 29 is Shia McCarty. And that V8 Toyota powered 29D. Cody Finch in the 18D machine. He's a young fella out of Youth Mini Stocks a couple of seasons ago. Green in the air, street stock. Heat number 2. Long hold on the green, but we're away now. The 66 of Will Brown looking up the inside. He runs into second position early in this one. Ben Jenkins will be hard to peg back. Cody Finch has got Will Brown out of there. Mitchell Lavender goes after the 89 car of Clinton Finch. Puts him around, but unfortunately Mitchell Lavender half spun himself and dropped a fair bit of ground. Gets some bumper action on Jesse Helm, does Mitchell Lavender. Race leader round there at turn 3, though, is Ben Jenkins. It'll be very hard to catch Cody Finch, though, doing his best. Shia McCarty's spun to the infield, so that's out of third position for McCarty in the 29, all the way to the tail of the field. Jesse Helm spun like a spinning top as Will Brown comes under attention. Looks like Hayden Williams in the 24 car having a crack at Will Brown. Ben Jenkins doing it comfortably at the moment. Jesse Helm stranded over there at 3. Another spinner at turn 1 and 2. That's Clinton Finch. The field very strung out at the moment. Ben Jenkins with a 3-second lead back to Cody Finch. Cody Finch coming under attack from Clinton Finch in the 89. Mitchell Lavender moving through now. Mitchell Lavender gets a tag from Clinton Finch and round he goes. Nicely done from Finch. And that 89D machine on screen. Ben Jenkins now out to a 5-second lead. Dominant performance so far. Cody Finch runs second. Then it's Will Brown in the 66. He's a further 4 seconds back. Another spinner, Jesse Helm, has gone around at turn 1 and 2. As we look at Will Brown attacking Clinton Finch in that 89 car. Goes after him into turn 3 and 4. He's on the bumper, but he can't finish him off. What will Mitchell Lavender do? Threads the needle, splits the gap and moves through into 3rd position. So Mitchell Lavender now under attack from Will Brown. Ben Jenkins again, healthy lead, way out in front. As Will Brown puts a high-speed spin on Mitchell Lavender down the back straight. Lucky the car didn't dig in there. Good action. Mitchell Lavender now will go after him for a bit of retribution. Race leader comes through though, that's Ben Jenkins. To the checkered flag for Ben Jenkins. Game over and a big Scandinavian slide under the checkered there for the 345 of Ben Jenkins. It was Cody Finch ran second. Shia McCarty got back up to 3rd position after dropping to the tail of the field. Head down for another interview with Big Jace down in the pit area.
Okay, folks, here we are. Big Jace, as he's calling me, of course, down here in the pits. It's Josh Buchanan, mate. That was an awesome display of driving in that one. A couple of wee mistakes in that first race, but definitely redeemed yourself on that. No spin outs, no tip overs, no nothing. So obviously on the pace again.
Yeah, we had left rear shock fell off in the start of the race there, and just was a cowboy from the end, really. But no, that last one went real good. Happy.
So tell me, let's go back a little bit. Obviously, you haven't just sort of been introduced to Speedway recently. You've been around a long time. How did your Speedway career start? Where'd you start?
I started go-karts for a few years. Turned out I like going sideways a lot more than I like going straight. And the old man had a 6-shooter sitting in the garage, so I was like, oh, might as well have a go on this. My brothers had a go. They both wrecked it, so it's my turn, I reckon.
Did you wreck it?
Couple, but not too bad.
You got to keep them nice and straight, eh? So tell me, this car here, obviously your dad's synonymous with racing sprint cars as well. Hasn't raced for quite some time, but obviously good to see a Buchanan back in the seat of a sprint car. Loving it?
Absolutely enjoy every minute of it. There's ups and downs, but still loving every bit of it.
Okay, so this sprint car series to you, it's obviously a good opportunity for you to sort of build that craft. You're very good in a 6-shooter, so obviously the goal is to try and get that better in a sprint car as well.
Yeah, definitely. Every minute in the seat for me is great minutes, I reckon. It's a great car, lots of power. Just trying to get used to it from the old 220 horsepower V6.
Exactly that. Tell us about your car. What chassis, what motor, what's the combination you've got going on there?
We've got a XXX chassis. I think it's last year new, maybe. Just a 410-12, I think. And it goes like a cut cat, really.
That's all you needed to do, eh? Good sponsor to look after you on the car. Who does that?
Yeah, we've got Henry's Beer, Wine and Spirits in Cromwell, Placemaker Central Targo, Central Lift, Turbo Shop for building the motors, Trust Tech, a few others that I can't think of, but thank you everyone who comes on part, because it's
obviously clearly got too many, mate.
I need them as many as I can get.
Absolutely. So, just for those people that don't know, what do you do for a living? What do you get up to?
I'm just a recently qualified builder now, so working in Cromwell, mainly in Queenstown. Gets me from Monday to Friday, and then race this on the weekend, waste all the money again and go back again.
Is that right? Does Dad pumping a bit of money though?
Definitely, but couldn't do without him.
Absolutely, eh? Thanks, mate. Good. Well, congratulations. Let's see what you can do on that feature coming up later on, eh? Yep. Let's talk to Jack Brown while we got a chance to, because I know he doesn't want to. No. But that's all right. So now let's talk. Obviously, you've come up through the ranks fairly quickly. You started off in the old youth saloons, had a bit of a poke around in a 6-shooter. Now we've seen you in a sprint car. So that's a pretty quick jump. It's only, a few years since you actually started racing, isn't it?
Oh, it's only been a couple, but this is only trial and error at the moment. We'll come through hopefully next season in the sprint car full time.
It's well, and what do you think of it? Is it obviously a bit better to drive than maybe a 6-shooter?
Oh, it's a lot funner, mate.
So, how do you do it? I mean, are you enjoying it? Is it hard to learn to drive? They keep telling me, all these guys down this road here keep telling me, the faster you go, the better they go, because that wing starts, doing its thing.
It is true though. The faster you go, the easier it is to drive them. It is a lot different from the 6-shooter and everything else. So yeah, it's cool.
So how's your day going today? You had a couple of heats. Where have you sort of you been up there?
The first race we got second, and second race we sort of got last, had a couple of donuts. And
you've got to have them, mate, to understand how it all works, eh?
Oh, exactly. It's part of learning.
Exactly that. So good sponsors on the car too. Who looks after you, mate?
Dad.
That's all you need to, isn't it? Just Dad.
Pretty much, yeah.
Tell us about the car. What chassis, what motor?
It's a Triple X and it's a 410 motor. It's just a hire off Jason Scott from Triple X at Edge Parts and Performance.
Is it something you're going to buy later?
No, we've got one at home.
Oh, there you go. What do you got at home?
Another one.
I'm not going to give too much away. Jack, thanks very much for talking to us, mate. Best of luck. Come up in the feature later on.
Will do. See.
Right, we'll hand you back over to Steve. I think racing's about to get underway very shortly. We're going to catch up with a couple of other guys. We've got John Severite we're going to catch up with a little bit later on. Let's go up to Steve.
Thanks, Jace, and yeah, good insights from a couple of the newcomers down there. Great to see some new blood in sprint car racing, and full credit to Jason Scott and his team for putting this show on with the focus on the newcomers to the sport. It's really exciting. Super Saloons on the racetrack for Heat 2. Looks like the Mike Verdona machine hasn't made it back out, so obviously some car issue. Of course, he was involved in that accident with Terry Soper down at turn number 3 on lap 1 of the first heat. So Ewan Sheeran in the 69 brings them to the green, and we get underway. Ewan Sheeran leads them down into turn 1 and 2, but Paul Simon gets around the outside of him. Ewan Sheeran's car's up on stilts. Left front right up off the ground, so they've missed the setup a little bit by the looks of things. Paul Simon leading the way. Terry Soper looking to work some magic, get some good drive off turn 2. Look at that, like a cannonball down the back straight with really, really good corner exit speed. The 8D of Terry Soper. Beautiful Camaro body Hypermat race car, the 8D. With Soper logging on the rear guards. Custom signs, of course, Terry's day-to-day business. Around the outside he goes. Terry Soper just tripped over himself a little bit, and we run too wide down the front straight. Paul Simon got that car working nicely down low, but look at Terry Soper. Looking racy. Again, too wide they run through 3 and 4. Here comes Ricky Bolton. Spoke about putting a proper slick track setup into that race car earlier in the night. Again, looking racy, looking to get through on Paul Simon and Terry Soper, who are battling for sheep stations here. Too wide they run. Paul Simon still holding the lead from Terry Soper, now coming under attack from Ricky Bolton. Terry Soper now knows he's got to look one eye behind and one eye in front. Awkward position to be in, defend or attack for Terry Soper. He goes with the attack option and runs around the outside. We go too wide once more, down the back straight, too wide to turn 3. Terry Soper now gets the car rotated. Paul Simon's thing looking really good round the pole line, the 7D car. Brilliant racing here, folks. 3 cars in the fight. Terry Soper just struggling for drive a little bit to get off turn 2. Ricky Bolton looking to his inside now. Look at this, folks. Too wide for second now. Terry Soper still attacking the leader. 12 laps the distance. We've got 4 to run. Terry Soper to the outside. Car 7 leads car 8. That's Paul Simon, Terry Soper and Ricky Bolton now to the inside of Soper. Ricky Bolton now to second position. What can he do? 3 cars in it, folks. Simon, Soper, Bolton. Ricky Bolton now to the inside of Soper. That's for second position. Gives Paul Simon just the slightest bit of breathing space as Ricky Bolton now looking to work around the inside. Gets the job done. Has he? Yes, he has. They pull back into line. Ricky Bolton now going after the race leader. Can't get a bumper on him. Paul Simon to the white flag. Paul Simon's going to hold on at this stage unless Ricky Bolton can get a really good drive down the back, can't do it. Pulls him on, folks, in the 7D machine. He's going to run off turn number 4 to the checkered. Pulls him on, takes heat 2 for the Super Saloons. Ricky Bolton in the 861 ran second. Terry Soper third. In the race of the night so far, that is for sure. Ewan Shearing and Racing Ray Stewart round out the field. Of course, Mike Verdona didn't make it out onto the racetrack. We're going to go downstairs for an interview with John Severite.
Okay, folks, here we are down in the pits and catch up with Johnny Severite. John, your missus has told us to boost your confidence a wee bit. First race, not exactly the best one for you, but still, let's be honest, you've never really raced in dirt track racing before. Sprint car was what you chose to get into for your very first, I don't know why, but you've done it anyway. But still, you must be, you're learning this sort of stuff, aren't you?
Oh, definitely. I'm learning every time I go out. Yep. They're pretty vicious beasts to draw and drive.
I suppose, but what made you not, sort of like, why didn't you try another class first before you got into one of these big 800-900 horsepower beasts?
I'm 51, mate. I didn't have that many years left in me.
But you, of course, what a lot of people probably don't know is that you have been involved in motorsport, but not in a dirt track level. You've been doing some hard track racing.
Yeah, so I've done motocross for years, and then I've done jet ski racing. And I've done a lot of hard track racing, and I thought I'll have a crack at dirt and see how that goes.
It's a lot harder than it looks, isn't it?
I'll tell you what, I've got a newfound respect for them.
Everybody thinks you just jump in a car and go round and round in circles and there's nothing to it and it's all nice and easy, but it's not the case, is it?
No, they're pretty uncontrollable. It's going to take a wee bit to get used to it.
So what's the plan? I mean, obviously you're going to be staying in it for a while, but you've got great aspirations to perhaps start doing New Zealand titles and all that sort of stuff?
Well, I want to spend the first season trying to learn to drive it, and I'm going to do it. I'm going to give it a good shove for a few years and see how I go. But
well, you've got to begin to win, don't you?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So
I'm the donut king at the moment, but give it a couple of years, I won't be.
Well, off here I called you Gentilini because you did more spins than my washing machine's ever done, mate. But we won't go too far into that, will we? But it's all a part of that learning curve, isn't it?
Yeah, it definitely is. Yeah. And
okay, let's talk about this car. So what do we got here? We got what's the chassis? What's the motor? What's the combination you're running?
I'm running a Triple X tall chassis with just a Mag 410 engine, and God knows about the setup.
Are you learning?
Yeah, I am learning. Yeah.
Are you able to come back and say to your crew chief, look, it's doing this, and are they able to change it to suit?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I'm starting to get a feel for what it's doing, and yep.
Can we blame your crew chief for the first race?
No, because he's as fresh as me.
So of course this is beautifully powder coated and stuff, and so are the wheels. So you might know someone that does that sort of work. So tell us about the sponsors that look after you.
So Powder Line's the big sponsor that look after me. They handle all the powder coating, and they do it for a lot of the guys here. So yeah.
What are the sponsors you got?
We haven't got any more.
You just want to worry about Powder Line, eh? Look at let's bring the camera person. Let's have a look at this chassis. It's just so well done. The nice, I don't even know, what colour is that, John?
We have got Sign Solutions who help us with the signage, so better not forget them.
Yeah, no, they do a good job of signs, don't they?
This is a special effects colour out of Prismatic in America. So it's a colour it's meant to glow in the dark. Yeah, and it actually does glow quite well in the dark when the light comes down a bit. So, yeah.
So we can see you going through the air and nice and green.
So when on that spin cycle, you'll know if I'm going backwards or forwards.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course a nice colour on the wheels as well. Is that powder coated or did you buy them like that?
No, that's another special effects colour out of the same company. Yeah, it's we do it. Powder Line. So.
There you go. And of course, you got more than one car, they tell me as well.
I have. I bought a second car in case I crash this one.
Let's not talk about that. Let's touch wood. Okay, well, hey, thanks for talking to us, John. And all I got to say is good on you for getting out there and doing it because, hey, that's half the fun, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, it's great, mate. I'd say it's the most fun you have with your pants on.
Absolutely. Well done, mate. Thanks for talking to us. Let's talk to Troyden Finlay that's behind us. And this man's from Photo Photography. And you might see in a few of his photos. Look at this photo here. Can you see that? Isn't that awesome? So, Troyden, mate, you're
wheels,
Yeah, there you go. You're supposed to be at Timaru, but you didn't get there and wanted to come do Speedway instead.
Yeah, no, Speedway's in the blood. I picked up the camera to shoot Speedway, and I can't really pass up on Speedway. Drifting's fun, of course, but dirt track's a lot where it is,
Well, you probably did the right decision anyway, coming here. A great field of cars, great. The pits are full, it's a great atmosphere, the track's not too bad. We've still got some good racing to come up, eh?
You did right, yeah, you've still got the feature for the old sprint cars there. I'm not too sure what's going on at the moment. We've got the saloons out there at the moment. I'm pretty sure there's a few cars on the trailers I see. But yeah, I think we definitely still got the sprint car feature, which is going to be awesome. And obviously, you guys can see that live on the live stream on Pits Media, which is a great service.
Speed Shift today.
On Speed Shift today. Apologise on Speed Shift TV.
What's your website? Where's your Facebook page? Just quickly.
So just fader.co.nz. If you put that in any browser, it'll come straight to our Facebook page, and you can also head on to our Instagram at Fader Photography NZ.
There we go, Steve, mate. Saloon's about to start. Up to you.
Thanks, mate. And yeah, good insights down there. Good to see Johnny Severite with a big smile on his face, and full credit to him, as you said. It's a big learning curve, but look, he seems to have a decent head on his shoulders and good understanding of what he's trying to achieve. So good on him, and I'm sure he will use some of the skills he's acquired racing these other things over the years, and he'll get the hang of it, eh? Right, heat number 2 for Otago Saloon Championship, brought to you by Meikle Transport. Yellow's still flashing, so we've just got a little bit of a hold up. I can hear the hooter going, so someone's called 3 minutes. Possibly the Graham Williamson crew over there with Tow Mater pushing them. There's some issue. We'll take this opportunity. We'll go down to Jace again with an interview with Terry Soper, the 8D Super Saloon.
Okay, so this is why we've got an opportunity to 3-minute bell's been called by the guys, the Williamson team there. Terry Soper, mate, that was a battle and a half, wasn't it, mate? You must love racing like that.
Yeah, mate, yeah, I think I deserve a better night after that one. But yeah, no, it was good with me and Paul and Ricky coming along, and I think none of us even touched each other the whole time, so nice and clean racing, and yeah, got to go out wide to see. You can't pass them on the pole. You've got to go out wide and see what's happening.
Are you enjoying the Super Saloon thing? I mean, you just moved up from saloons. Obviously, let's go way back in 1925 or whatever. You did race in Speedway, but you've made a return back, went to saloons quickly into Super Saloons. Why?
Well, race car come up for sale, and well, we're going to stick with saloons because it's good grade, good bunch of guys. But hey, we thought we'd take a step up and do supers for a season and see how it goes. But yeah, really enjoying it, and a bit more horsepower too. So you know, she's well worth it. Good fun.
Is it notably different in the horsepower department? Like, do you notice it when you put your foot up it compared to the saloon?
Yeah, when it's hooking up, you do. But when it's a slick track, the saloon's probably just as quick. Yeah, so it's more on the setup, really. Yeah,
absolutely. So tell me, this car, a beautiful presented machine as well. You might know someone that's a reasonably good sign rider. We've been catching up with people and drivers today and telling the people that are overseas watching this what you actually do, because you know, like a lot of those guys are professional drivers. You guys have got to get up for work on Monday. What do you do?
Yeah, so like we wrap cars for a living, custom signs, my own business. And we just, yeah, it's a good way to. If you get a damaged panel or something, you just print another one out and slap it over the top, and she's good to go for Saturday. So, yeah.
So it's easy for you. We're going to break away just for a second. We will come back to you, Terry. We've got the saloons about to kick off. Otago Champs coming to you on Speed Shift TV. Back soon.
Thanks, Jace. Lights are down. Green is in the air as it looks like Graham Williamson is possibly going to affect the start of this one. Green's in the air, but I feel like it'll be waved away as Graham Williamson. Start is waved away as Graham Williamson looks to rejoin the fray. Still no yellow, so we may look to just turn them loose next time by. The lights are still down and the starter has the green in the air. So Graham Williamson starting from the inside of the second row. Lloyd Phillips, Shane Greer on the front row of this one. Williamson and Green, the second row. Then McKellion, Black, Andrews, Phillips. Green is waving and we are rocking and rolling here at Beachlands Speedway. Lloyd Phillips leading the way. Shane Greer with a bit of a push up the racetrack. Couple of cars tangled together down the back straight. That's Dan Black and Raymond Phillips. They've separated themselves, and let me tell you, Raymond Phillips with some red mist now will be one to watch in that 17D machine. Lloyd Phillips leading the way though. Shane Greer, Matt Green having a brilliant run here tonight in the 59D car. Going as good as we've ever seen. Hounding the back of Shane Greer now, looking to the outside of the 33 car. Graham Williamson, then McCallion, 4th and 5th. Raymond Phillips though, to the inside of McCallion. Aaron Andrews now hiking upstairs, trying to get something happening out wide on the racetrack. Raymond Phillips on the inside of McCallion. Raymond Phillips still working on McCallion. Of course, Dave McCallion took a break for quite a few years, but has a long history of racing speedway cars. Some famous battles back in the day with Wayne Andrews back in the 90s and probably early 2000s. Race leader Lloyd Phillips. Then it's Matt Green in the 59 car. He's looking racy out there at the moment. Shane Greer, Matt Green, they're duking it out for 2nd and 3rd, but this is the battle for 4th, 5th, 6th. It's McCallion, Phillips, Williamson, Burgess now buying into that fight. A 4-way fight. Looks like Ray Phillips just checking away a little bit from Davey McCallion. Moving on to the back of Shane Greer. So Raymond Phillips now looking to get a move happening for the 3rd position. Dave McCallion though has found some speed in the 26 car to go with him. Phil Burgess has worked his way around the outside of Graham Williamson in the 21 car. So Greer keeping the car nice and straight on the pole line. 2 wide down the back straight. Look at Ray Phillips. Will he make it 3 wide? Thinks about it. Nibbling away on the inside on the pole line. Ray Phillips, he'll have to be careful. He can't progress under the pole line. 3 laps to run, folks. And look at this battle now. Shane Greer, Ray Phillips. Got a car round at 3 and 4. That'll bring the caution on just as things were heating up. So the 10 car of Stu Miller is round over there at 3 and 4. Wow, 3 laps to run, 12 the distance. Lloyd Phillips leading the way in the 47D car. Matt Green, Shane Greer, Raymond Phillips, Dave McCallion, Phil Burgess, Graham Williamson, Aaron Andrews, Blair Findlay. That's your order through to about 8th position. Good to see Mark Newell back out there in the 96 car after a check out in the ambulance a little bit earlier on. Green is high in the air. It's Lloyd Phillips, Matt Green, Shane Greer. Look at Raymond Phillips to a jump. He gets in a second, goes underneath Matt Green, and he's gone from 4th to 2nd position in one fell swoop. So it's the Phillips family racing team, 1st and 2nd again. Lloyd Phillips leading the way. Raymond Phillips in the 17 car looking racy. Look at Matt Green starting to wind things up higher on the racetrack. Can't get the drive down the back straight that he needed. Lloyd Phillips leading the way. There's contact. Raymond Phillips is slapped into the left rear of the 47 car. White flag next time by, folks. It's Lloyd Phillips, Raymond Phillips, duking it out at the front of this one. Good 2 wide racing down through the field, but it's 2 wide for the lead now. Lloyd Phillips slams the door. White flag lap, folks. We're 2 wide down the back straight, and Raymond Phillips gets the job done. Coming off turn 2 to go to the point of this one. He'll lead the field to the checkers. Raymond the Flyer Phillips takes 2 from 2, and boy, he had to work for that one, did Raymond Phillips in the 17D machine. So Raymond Phillips got to the flag first in the 17D machine after passing a lot of cars. Got tangled up early in that one. Raymond Phillips having a perfect night so far. The 17D machine, the flyer, Raymond Phillips. Then it was Lloyd Phillips, Matt Green. Just looking at a restart, replay of the restart. Looked like Raymond Phillips might have gone a little bit early. We'll take a little bit of a break. We'll be back with you shortly.
For any powder coating job, no matter the size, Invercargill's powder line can deliver the desired professional finish. Specialising in powder coating and thermoplastic coating for any aluminium or steel items. Powder line services are suitable for both domestic and commercial purposes with 2 large ovens on site. Powder line can powder coat anything from mag wheels, car parts, gates, sprint car frames to house flashings, garden seats and aluminium window frames. With 280 colours on site for customers to choose from, we have access to thousands more, which are available by order. Give the friendly office staff a call to book your job in now.
At Wholesale Tyres in Whakatane.
Need truck tyres? Wholesale Tyres. Good tyres, better prices, great people.
Okay, folks, back down into the pits we go. We finish off this interview with Terry Soper. Now, we're talking about your car. Tell us what generation Hypermac you're running here, what's the engine combo, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, it's HPE engine, and I think it's generation 4 Hypermac. Ray Stewart's old car, 34T car, so yeah, no, we're pretty stoked with it.
Has it got the 4-bar setup, or is it still the old system?
Just the old system, torsions in the back, so yeah, trying to make it work in the slick, so slowly getting there.
Is it handled just as good as your Saloon in the slick?
Yeah, the Saloon handled actually just as good, so yeah, they're on par sort of thing. Yeah, so yeah, just haven't got the horsepower of the Saloon, but yeah, we're getting there with the Super, just trial and error.
Yeah, it's exactly that, and of course, are you loving being back involved with Speedway again?
Yeah, no, it's been good, yeah, good bunch of guys in that, and especially in this grade, and a Saloon grade, it's worked good too, so yeah, no, it's alright.
Good sponsors, mate. Who looks after you?
Yeah, we've got Save Money Skips, Shane Marker. He helps us set up the car in that as well. Spros and Motors, Soper Logging, Jack Soper Contracting, and RJP Custom Signs, and Waihola Surfacing. So that's about it.
Good stuff. And of course, Marker's no stranger to that New Zealand champs either, is he?
Yeah, no, he's good. Yeah, no, he's been good help with the car and trying to get it working the slick, and yeah, keep trying things and that. So yeah, no, good value. Yep.
Good stuff. Hey, thanks Terry for talking to us. We better get back. Some action for Production Saloons on track. Let's go back up to Steve.
Thanks, Jace. Well, it's good to hear from Terry Soper down there. He loves the cameras, doesn't he? Loves the limelight. Loves the racetrack, does Terry Soper. Production Saloon, top done. So Isaac Hodgson, Cody Glover with a first pairing. Isaac Hodgson got the job done. Now we see Hodgson taking on the 85 car. That is Callum Stanley. Stanley sending it into 3 and 4, losing a lot of momentum with the big flat slide. White flag. Hodgson, will he go coast to coast in this one, folks? He's already defeated the 24D of Cody Glover. And he looks comfortable at this point over Callum Stanley in the 85 car. Although Callum Stanley now getting very close as Hodgson overcooked it slightly at 3 and 4. To the checkers though, the 199. So Callum Stanley to the infield. Next to roll out is the 89T of Brad McKee from Central Motor Speedway. Hodgson to the inside. Brad McKee to start from the outside. They come and face the green. And we're away. Hodgson to a good early jump. But McKee running around the outside. Pulls down into line, so Hodgson in the 199. McKee chasing hard. Big push up though. Push up toward the wall for McKee. And Hodgson looks comfortable. 1 lap to go around the quarter mile. As the light begins to fade here at Beachlands Speedway, Production Saloon Top Gun. Isaac Hodgson off turn 4, run to the checkered. Gets rid of another one. So Hodgson going coast to coast at the moment. McKee will go to the infield. Regan Constable. So Challenger selects the lane they want to start from, and Regan Constable has selected the inside. Hodgson with some work to do around the outside. Absolute scenes here in the Top Gun for Production Saloons. Hodgson charges into 1 and 2. Regan Constable, though, off turn 2 to the point. Hodgson now with it all to do. Good racing, good bumper contact. Racing at 3 and 4 with 1 lap to go. Regan Constable holding the lead here. Hodgson, the bit of a wobble at turn 2 and a poor drive down the back straight. Constable looks to have this one done if he can get through 3 and 4 nicely. It's going to be close, folks. Too wide to the stripe, but Regan Constable takes it. So Hodgson couldn't go all the way in the 199. So the final for the Top Gun, the final now, Bailey Mitchell in the 78. Constable in the 63. Mitchell has selected the outside. They run to the green. Bailey Mitchell squeezing Constable down toward the pole line. Takes the lead in the 78, the little Mitsubishi. Regan Constable's had a tyre go down, and it's game over, folks. Bailey Mitchell now could walk to the finish. Constable's on the infield. White flag lap. 1 car on the racetrack. It is over and out unless something very strange happens. Bailey Mitchell is your Top Gun champion for Production Saloons. Exciting stuff here for Bailey Mitchell, your Top Gun champion for Production Saloons. Now I believe Jace is down in the pits with some information. We'll go down and see what he's got to say.
Okay, folks, here we are down at the pits. Your court information, according to Steve. It is Raymond Phillips, and of course you won the last saloon race and come from the back as well. That's 2 from 2 for you today, mate. That's pretty good average, really, isn't it?
Yeah, no, it's going good. We've finally got the car hooked up on the slick tracks.
Otago Champs is what? You're the defending champ, I'm led to believe, as well, so you'll be looking to try and, carry that on, will you?
Yeah, trying to get 2 in a row, but it's a race. You never know what's going to happen.
Absolutely. So, car, it's obviously hooking up just nicely for you, but I did see you talking to your dad. You want to get a bit more out of it. What's he referring to? What are you going to do to it?
I want a bit more straightforward drive, just out of the corner so I can plant my foot a bit early.
What's the track like? What's it doing out there?
Slick.
So there's nothing out there at all, no matter where you go?
Oh, I haven't been out wide, but it doesn't look like there's much out there.
Well, the feature race is coming up. You're going to have a crack at going out wide?
Probably not.
You're just going to be quite happy. Because we notice you like to hug that pole line, just that wee bit of extra, so obviously that's where you're finding the drive?
Yeah, that's only where drive is.
Good stuff. Who looks after you in the car, mate?
Cleanways, powder line, eye hire, eye batteries, eye signs, and Jesse, Cody, Keith, Dad, Lissy, Mum, everyone really, Lloyd, Brian. Special thanks to Brian for helping with the car over the week and that.
You guys not too bad for an old bugger, isn't he?
No, you guys good as.
Good stuff. Thanks very much, mate, Gray, and best of luck in the future. We'll call in, well, you're not George Phillips, but you are Lloyd George Phillips, but you've been called George Phillips for most of the meeting, but, mate, that was a pretty good race. If that yellow hadn't come out, it would have been a whole different outcome there. But still, you must be stoked with being able to keep up after having so much time off.
Yeah, mate, just to be able to hop back in there and be able to be competitive with a good crew of guys here, mate. I think the track's a real leveller for a lot of us, though, to be fair today. A lot of big wheel cars out there, mate. So, and I guess the weather hasn't helped leading into it. So, but no, it is good just to, I guess it's like riding that bike, mate,
That car's sitting up real high. Is that the way you like the car set up? George, not so much, but you really do like it lifted right up. Is that what sort of advantage is that giving you?
Well, it's just my style and where I want to drive and how I drive. And I guess George drives a little bit like myself, but he's probably a little smoother. Age is a thing, isn't it, I guess. But yeah, no, we're happy with where the car is. We're out of 13 in the last heat though, mate. So we've got a little bit of work to do, 2 seconds. Very happy with that. Obviously, first to second in the second race is not exactly where I wanted to go, but he did hit me in the door plate, so I'm sort of don't know whether that was right. But that's right.
Let's not go there. So what I did notice about your car, they're very good on the straights, but getting around that corner, you'd almost come to a damn near stop to get that machine around. Try and keep it nice and tight to make that car as wide as you possibly can as well. Clearly the same for you as the same for Raymond, just no drive out there for you?
Yeah, no, there's not. And well, when I say no, there's not, hopefully the night will, the moisture will come up out of the track later. We should get some. As I said, off 13, we're chucking some stuff at the car. Keep an eye out, because if we can't do too much down on that pole line off 13, we'll be up there having a look. So.
The thing is that you're not known for hugging the pole line. You're definitely one of those guys that likes it out wide. So is that something we can expect to see in your next heat?
Absolutely. As I said, that pole line's our friend today with the way the track is, obviously, and our grid positions for the first 2 races. Off the back one, though, we're chucking the bad boy and a bit of other stuff at the old girl over there. So it's either going to look spectacular or I'm going to look like a silly old bugger. So
well, we'll just find out. Good sponsors on the car as well. Obviously, you own 90% of the sponsors, but who looks after you?
Yeah, mate. Well, we're lucky to have John Siverite from Powderline come on board this year. He's been really, really helpful with a lot of stuff. We've got iSigns, Cleanways, IMO, Waste Tech Services, Central Otago. Yeah, we're very lucky, man. We're happy, eh? And good support from guys like yourselves, Jace, at the pits.
Good stuff. John, we would nickname him Gentle Annie. We'll let you figure it out, eh?
Yeah, mate, he's got to actually, in the last race he didn't go around as much, and I give him 2 pairs of undies, so he was supposed to do a spin cycle for me.
Absolutely, mate. Hey, Lloyd, thanks very much, mate. Best of luck for the feature coming up a little bit later on, eh?
Thank you. Same to you, boys. Thank you.
Okay, so we're going to go and catch up with a couple of the other Saloon guys we haven't had much of a chance to catch up with, and also what we're going to do is we're going to check out and tell you the difference between a Saloon car and a Super Saloon coming up on Speed Shift TV. Steve, what's happening up there, mate? She's starting to get a bit cooler down here. Maybe a bit of moisture might come up through that track now.
Yeah, I really hope so, Jace. The track is starting to look a little bit better now that the sunlight has gone off it, but it's a little bit hard to tell from where I am. We'll know pretty quick smart with the Southern Sprint Car Series Group A about to hit the loud pedal, so the accountant Matthew Anderson going to run off the front of this one alongside the King Jason Scott. Slamming Sam O'Callaghan in that 49 car, his own personal car here tonight, not the Kevin Freeman 75 that we're accustomed to seeing O'Callaghan run in the War of the Wings. Mark Evans there in the 98, James Robinson in the 8, Fetu Taiwa in the 6 car, Chester Nigel Colvin in the 42, and Kyle Shearing rounding out the field. Lights are down, we're going to go green this time. So Jason Scott with the front row all to himself. Keep an eye on Matthew Anderson in that 16 machine. Green is waving and we're underway. Matthew Anderson to the lead of this one in the 16. Jason Scott round the outside, 3 wide down the back straight. It's slamming Sam O'Callaghan to the inside of Matthew Anderson. Oh, Fetu Taiwa's had a spin down through the field, but at the front of this one, it is on like Donkey Kong. It's Jason Scott starting to check away a little bit from O'Callaghan. The cream is at the top of this one, with Matthew Anderson running through. We're 3 wide down through the field, folks. Mark Evans in the middle of Nigel Colvin, James Robinson. Holy smoke, what's happened here at Beachlands Speedway? The King, Jason Scott leading the way. Sam O'Callaghan catching the back of the race leader, but it's on for 4th position. This is Colvin, Robinson and Evans on screen, going at it hammer and tong. Evans on the inside, Robinson out wide on the racetrack. 2 lanes, here we go, Beachlands. Look at Robinson now working round the outside. We're still too wide for that position. Mark Evans down on the pole line. Look at James Robinson now working the outside of Nigel Colvin. It's settled down at the front, but the battle for fourth is only heating up. James Robinson in the 8. Looking racy on Nigel Colvin, who looks to go upstairs, thinks better of it, and sticks back down to that pole line. Well, I think Lloyd Phillips will be watching this one, rubbing his hands together. The top is offering something now as James Robinson goes around, drops those hard-earned spots down in behind Kyle Shearing now. Three laps to run, folks, and Jason Scott, race leader on screen, looking racy up on the cushion, slamming Sam O'Callaghan, doing his best to run him down. Jason Scott just a little bit offline that time by, looked at the middle of the racetrack, white flag lap, one time round the quarter mile for Jason Scott, the king. He's turned his terrible night around in this one, folks. He's led from flag to flag. Oh, huge slide job from Slammin' Sam O'Callaghan. Can't get it done. Spin and holds on to second, does he? No, he gets pipped to the line. Well, folks, boy, oh boy. Matthew Anderson ran second. Jason Scott won it. Slammin' Sam O'Callaghan threw the biggest slider Beachlands Speedway's ever seen. Whipped out of it at the corner, but he came in at about 140 kilometres an hour to turn 3 and absolutely threw it on. Wow, the fireworks have just gone off here in the commentary box. I've had a party all by myself. Unbelievable. We're going to head down to the pits with Jace for another interview. Jace, did you see that sprint car race?
Oh, it was amazing, wasn't it, mate? That I didn't see it. No, I've been sitting here hanging out with Phil Burgess, who's got Lansdowne Racing on the back, a sticker there on his car. I don't know what that's about. But Phil Burgess, of course, so I spoke to you earlier on the day and you weren't even coming here, but obviously a few issues getting into Christchurch means you came here and you still get some laps under the belt.
Yeah, Jace, we were going to hopefully run the Canterbury Champs. We've never run that before, so we thought we'd go up there and have a skid up there. But like you say, unfortunately, there's a whole lot of flooding up the middle part of the country, so we couldn't get through. So we decided to come down here and have a skid at the Otago Champs again. What's your night like tonight? I mean, obviously the last time we spoke to you was on Speed Week, and it was, I think you described it as having the highs of highs and the lows of lows, but how are we going today? Yeah, Jace, you did, right? Speed Week was pretty hard for us, but Stiffy gave us an interview after the one of our heat races in Ellesmere, and we had a really, really good run, and we were challenging for the lead in the race, and it was really, really cool. But the car's holding together good today, and we had an average first heat. We had the wrong gear set in the car. Second heat, we went from 13th up to 4th, so that was really good. It's a tough track out there. We're hearing it from all the drivers. They're saying that, you know, very slick in certain spots. Your Mabiste, is it because this is a more chassis, isn't it? So is it finding something out there somewhere? Yeah, I was sort of trying to get up high like I did in Ellesmere and find something up there. There is a wee bit up there, but like you say, Jason, it's very, very slick. Okay, now for those people that are on Speed Shift TV, we want to talk to you about the differences between a saloon and a super saloon. I suppose probably the most major thing is the engine capacity on it. So the maximum in a super saloon versus a saloon is what? 426 in a super saloon, and we're 361 cubic inch. So most of the supers are small block V8s. There's one big block in the North Island. We're all small block V8s. And you're very restricted. You can't run injection on your cars, but they can on super saloons. What other changes? Our cars are really, really restricted. Like we run standard steel rockers. We run a 600 vacuum secondary carburetor. We run steel heads versus the supers that have got alloy heads. And obviously, like you said, they're fuel injected. They run methanol. We run avgas. So we're really, really restricted in our rules. Also, I do believe that whatever car you run, you've got to run the engine that matches it. So if you've got a Chev, you've got to have a Chev engine. If you run a Ford, you've got to have a Ford engine in it as well. Yeah, that's right, Jason. That's the difference between us and our big brothers, the super saloons. They can have a Chevy body with a Ford engine, and the Fords are really good in the power plants in the super saloons. So a lot of guys are running them. So you're currently the 2NZ for CTRA, which is the opposite to Speedway New Zealand and stuff. You're going to obviously have a crack at defending that again this year? No, I won't be, Jason. It's way up in the top of the North Island, way up at Dargaville. So we'll wait till next year when it comes back down south again, and I think it's actually at Westport.
Oh, yeah, that's interesting. And what about the New Zealand champs? That's at Huntley, undecided at this stage, or what's the story?
Yeah, definitely undecided at this stage. You never know what will happen between now and then, but we're sort of humming and hawing as to whether to go. It's a long way for some 3-heat championships, so it's pretty difficult.
Now, we've asked everybody what they do for a day job, so these people overseas know that you're all hard-working Kiwis and stuff, got to get up and go to work on Monday, try and get the car prepped for next weekend, obviously, for wherever you may be racing. So, Phil, what do you do for a living, mate?
I'm actually a mechanic. I've just gone into partnerships in a workshop in Cromwell, so it's really cool, and we're really, really busy through there, mate.
You've been involved with Speedway for a very long time. When was your first laps in Speedway in a car?
I think I first started Speedway about 98, 99, Jace.
Holy hell. Yeah, you're not getting any younger then, are you? So good sponsors on your car too. Who looks after you?
We've got Avanti Racing, THR Fabrication, Concrete Grind and Shine, and obviously Campbell and Gaston Motors. Good stuff, Phil. Thanks very much for talking to us, mate. Best of luck for your remaining races. It's good to see there's no damage, and hopefully put it on the trailer at the end of the night. Yeah, thanks, Jace. We'll see you next weekend. Absolutely. Let's go down over here while we've got a chance to, and we'll catch up with this man, Graham Williamson. Come back here. So we've got the big G, we call him. So this is Graham, of course. Graham, mate, you're not having a fantastic run. It's almost like you're a magnet for anything else that's out there, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, mate. Yeah, I mean, we don't have a lot of luck in the Otago Champs, to be fair, but yeah, it is. I mean, that was just an electrical, probably a $5 part. But yeah, I got shunted up the rear a couple of times, and yeah, next thing the bar was against the left rear. So yeah, in the end, I just went into the infield. Saved everyone. A lot of smoke. Yeah, it was. Yeah, there was smoke. There was, yeah, all sorts of things going on in the car, mate.
Yeah, I hope your son's not watching this either, eh?
I hope Scott wasn't watching it because he'll be tearing his hair out, mate. Yeah.
I tell you, because for those people that don't know Graham, this is his boy's car. This is Scott Williamson's car. Graham's sort of loaning it until his Hypermac's ready, but I'm pretty sure that Scott's looking forward to you getting out of the seat.
Oh, he is. He will be now, mate. Yeah. Yeah, it's a loaner, and we're not going to give it back to him like this, obviously. We'll sort it all out for him. Yeah, I mean, it's well known that we're waiting on the new car, and yeah, it's getting a bit frustrating at this point.
This is a love lady designed for the type of track you're racing on. Have you got more to get out of this machine for your next race?
Oh, we have. I mean, and that's the thing. I mean, this car's a weapon. If you get the setup right, it's got a sweet spot, and if you can find that, yeah, it's cool. And you know, I've actually enjoyed driving it. But as I said, I'm looking forward to the new car. But I'm pleased it's not here tonight. It might be looking a bit second-hand already.
I see it's a couple of 3 or 4 doors down as your old machine there. You'll be proud to see that in some new livery and being enjoyed by another driver in the form of Aaron Andrews.
Oh, it's amazing. Yeah, I mean, we were hoping that it would stay in the South Island and particularly in the lower half of the South Island. And, you know, I couldn't have gone to a better family. I mean, the Andrews family and Speedway, I mean, they're legends, and Aaron's a good, clean driver. He'll look after that car. That's what we wanted. You know, we didn't want to see it sort of go, well, for want of a better phrase, to the wrong owner, if you like. So when Aaron and his dad approached us and that, you know, we were delighted.
Absolutely, and looks $1 million too, and I'm pretty sure he's going to do quite a bit of work to keep it nice and tidy as well, but still he's getting used to it, just like you had to, and you got a Hypermac coming, and you've just learned to drive this car, and all of a sudden you're going to have to learn to drive another one.
Yeah, I know. I mean, for an old guy like me, mate, I mean, it's a bit hard on the brain.
Absolutely. Good sponsors are going to help you with that. Who looks after you?
K&D Automotive, obviously. Wilson at Southland Car Painters and Commercial. Roger Nees, he's going to do the livery on the new car. And you know, so Roger's helped us right from day one. You know, X Factor Cars, they've been there from day one, and they've been fantastic. Without X Factor Cars, we wouldn't be racing, of course. But you know, the real heroes of the crew.
I mean, oh yeah, your crew's worked real hard tonight.
Oh, they've worked overtime. I'm going to have to shout them a beer, aren't I?
Absolutely. Okay, Graham. Well, hey, thanks for talking to us, mate. Best of luck. Hopefully you we'll find something to go home with a bit more of a positive.
Oh, look, we'll go out in the third heat. I mean, in a 3-heat format, you know, you have a DNF and you're screwed. But we'll go out. It's potentially, well, it won't be the last run in this car. We'll run it next weekend at Riverside now. I can't be bothered going to Blenheim next week, so we'll run it at Riverside, and then we'll give it back to Scott.
Absolutely. Hey, well done, and good luck, G.
Oh, thanks, Jace. I need a bit of luck tonight.
Absolutely. That's Graham Williamson, folks. Hope you're enjoying the coverage here from Beachlands Speedway in the bottom of the South Island here on Speed Shift TV. Coming up next, I do believe it's another class. I don't actually know who it is, but Steve, Youth Saloons are up next, sorry. And Steve, well, mate, she's starting to get a bit chilly down here, so hopefully that bit of moisture might come up through the track and give us a bit of a drivey surface for a couple of these feature races coming up.
Yeah, the track's looking good, Jace, and yeah, we've seen the start of the Youth Saloon race on track. We're just under caution now. There was a hell of a issue down the back straight with a high-speed spin. Harrison Brown did well to avoid heavy contact. Yeah, Elena Johnson leading this one. Liam Gillies running second. Zara Lee Tahura, Tyler Kelk, Brooke Soper is your top 5. And it looks like we are going to go back to green next time by. 8 laps the distance. Youth Saloons for the third and final time here tonight. I'm still recovering from that previous sprint car heat race. It was absolutely brilliant. There'll be some great replays that'll make the highlight reel in that one. 3 wide action twice in that race, and the horrendously wild attempted slide job on the last lap from Slammin' Sambo O'Callaghan. We go green again here. Elena Johnson leading the way from the 95 car of Liam Gillies. 2 wide behind them, Zara Lee Tahura and Tyler Kelk duking it out for third position. Yellows are on again. Can't see the cause of that one, but sure it'll become clear. So I do hope you're enjoying the coverage here on Speed Shift TV, wherever you may be watching. Over there in the United States, everyone here at the arena, I hope you're enjoying the show. It's been some challenging racing earlier on a difficult track, but it looks like we're in for a treat. Coming up, we go green again, and Elena Johnson leading the way in the 23 car. Tyler Kelk moves through on Liam Gillies for second position. Tyler Kelk now going after the race leader, Elena Johnson. So it's Johnson in the 23. The 48 of Tyler Kelk now looking to the outside for the lead. Can't get alongside, but it's an over and under move. A switchback, if you like, and Tyler Kelk hits the point in the 48 machine. Elena Johnson looking to work higher on the racetrack. Can't get anything going and drops a few metres to Tyler Kelk, who's now into lap traffic. Rounding up Maddie Stewart in that 828 car. Elena Johnson now rounding up Stewart. It's Tyler Kelk leading the way from Elena Johnson. Nico Tahura now has got around Gillies into third position in that 75 car. Race leader takes off another one, Tyler Kelk. Elena Johnson now under all kinds of pressure from Nico Tahura in the 75 machine. Nico Tahura, of course, won the first heat of the night. Tyler Kelk now is on the white flag lap. He won the previous heat. So this for the night for Tyler Kelk. Nico Tahura having a big look at Elena Johnson down at 3 and 4 for the final time. Can't get it done. Tyler Kelk though to the checkered. Tyler Kelk takes out heat 3 for the Youth Saloons. Second was Elena Johnson in the 23 car. Third was Nico Tahura in the 75. So Tyler Kelk 2 wins on the night. I think Nico Tahura may have just snagged it on points. Group B of the Southern Sprint Car Series, brought to you by Edge Parts and Performance, are next out on the racetrack. That'll be the last time we see the sprint cars in heat race action, building up to a 20-lap feature race to round out the evening. Some great action still to come, folks. Street stocks, of course, Super Saloons for their final heat of the night, and the deciding heat for the Otago Saloon Championship, brought to you by Meikle Transport.
Situated just 1.5 hours drive from Christchurch is Hanmer Springs, a small alpine village that has everything for the adventurer or for someone looking to relax. Stay a while and enjoy a bike ride through the numerous bush tracks, or relax in the famous hot pools. Take the whole family and let the kids take on the many attractions on offer. And to top off your stay, book now with Hanmer Holiday Homes, where there's a budget and accommodation to suit everyone. Call now.
At Wholesale Tyres in Whakatane.
Need truck tyres? Wholesale tyres. Good tyres, better prices, great people.
Final heat race action for Group B Southern Sprint Car Series. Lap 1 of 10 the distance. And it's Aaron Cleveland leading the way from Johnny Seabright, who has got a good handle on that race car now, after copping a bit of flack earlier in the night for operating a spin cycle through turn 2. Looking to be going really well now is Johnny Seabright in that 14 car. I hope I don't put the mocker on him, but looking really quite comfortable compared with earlier in the night. So it's Aaron Cleveland leading the way from John Seabright in the 14. Then it's Jack Brown in the 12 car. And rounding out the 4 cars on track is Josh Buchanan in the 43. Really unfortunate, the 68T machine of Luke Shearing. They've pulled the pin. They can't get to the bottom of their mechanical gremlin in that race car. Unfortunate for the Shearing team. So Aaron Cleveland, fast time of a 16.2, so a little bit off the pace from what we've seen earlier in the Group A heat race. But of course, as we discussed, the Group B are the newcomers to the series, the newcomers to the sport of sprint car racing. Here at Beachlands Speedway, huge thanks to the Rock FM arena sponsors. Aaron Cleveland, comfortable at the moment. John Seabright holding on to second position in that 14 car. Josh Buchanan can't do anything about him at the moment, so it's a great improvement from Johnny Seabright. Good battle now between Buchanan and Seabright. Buchanan looking low side on the racetrack at 3 and 4, gets the job done, slides up in front of Seabright to take the white flag. That's second position. Race leader Aaron Cleveland, length of the straight ahead. Here he is at 3 and 4 to drive off 4, run to the checkered. Aaron Cleveland takes the final heat for Group B, Edge Parts and Performance Southern Sprint Car Series. So the next time out for the sprint cars, 20-lap feature race. That'll round out the night's entertainment here at Beachlands Speedway. 20 laps the distance. That's coming up in 4 or 5 races time. Great improvement for John Severide, and that 14 machine definitely starting to get to grips with the sprint car. Street stocks out on the dummy grid. The track's looking a little bit better now under darkness. The moisture has come up through it a little bit, but unfortunately was a little bit sealed off. As you can see, the dark part there, the rubber down on the racetrack. Doesn't mean we won't see brilliant racing in the feature races. Just means the guys will have to go looking perhaps higher and wider on that racetrack. Likewise, Mitchell Lavender in the 555 with no one in front of him off the start line. Cody Finch getting away early though in the 18 car. The Dome, Corey Blackley, he's been dispatched right off the start line, as has the 89 of Clinton Finch. There's Will Brown having a go at the 24 of Hayden Williams. Race lead though, and it's Mitchell Lavender looking to the inside on Cody Finch, gets the pass done, and the 555 of Mitchell Lavender now leading the way. Cody Finch in the 18 running second, chasing hard. Look at Ben Jenkins coming under attack from Shire McCarty. McCarty gets a bumper on him, round he goes. Good hit and spin racing. Ben Jenkins now stranded at 3 and 4, puts him out of action. Gets underway again, a long way down though. Oh, McCarty spun over at turn 2, so Ben Jenkins may return serve here on the 29. Race leader, the 555, still leading the 18 car of Cody Finch. Next is the 24, that's Hayden Williams. Then Will Brown on screen now in 4th position. Blackler to the infield. He's done for the night in the 6D machine, the Dome. Mitchell Lavender leading the way. Beautiful scenes here at Beachlands Speedway. Nice calm evening with a nice sunset, but a blue sky day. White flag lap now, and it is Mitchell Lavender who's going to take this one out in the 555. Cody Finch, the young gun, fought all the way, but just didn't quite have the car speed. So Mitchell Lavender gets to the flag ahead of Cody Finch. Will Brown snuck 3rd as Hayden Williams had a big tank slapper toward the line. And Ben Jenkins, party boy across the finish line for Ben Jenkins with a big slide. That rounds out the street stock action here tonight at Beachlands Speedway.
Hi, Malcolm Nardo from Suck It Up. We specialise in hydro excavation in the Canterbury region, safe dig methods around services. Also we do septic tank cleaning, drain cleaning, CCTV over your pipes. If you want an excellent service, please check us out on Facebook.
Suck It Up Limited, 740 Marston Road, Christchurch. Call them 24 hours a day on 027 588 8809.
Technical Welding Services Hamilton are specialists in the transit concrete mixer industry. From chassis drop-off to a full working concrete mixing, the team will take care of the job from start to finish. Full engineering services and general sheet metal work can also be undertaken. Need a quote? Call 07 847 2031 or visit our website www.techweld.nz. Technical Welding Services Hamilton, we are the experts.
Got a broken computer? Don't throw it in the bin.
E-Waste Services to the rescue!
Has your TV or toaster blown up?
E-Waste Services to the rescue!
Be a superhero. Recycle your electronics today. You don't even need to leave your home or business. They'll pick up most items anywhere in the Wellington-Kapiti region. E-Waste Services. They recycle anything with a plug. Head online to ewasteservices.co.nz or call 564 5464.
Super Saloon action here at Beachlands Speedway. Sorry we missed the first half lap of this one. Terry Soper leading the way. over Ricky Bolton in the 8.61, 10 laps the distance. We've completed 2. Terry Soper in the 8 car, out to an early lead. Ricky Bolton just struggling to hang with him for car speed at the moment. We've got a good 2-wide battle further back though. Racing Ray Stewart and Paul Simon. Ray Stewart's had a very quiet night in that brand new Gen 5 Hypermac machine, the 34 car. Starting to find some car speed here in the final heat race of the night for the Super Saloons. Paul Simon, of course, in that 7D machine. Long-time street stock competitor, multiple champion of street stocks. Beautiful looking race car for Paul Simon. It's quite a strung out one here for the final heat race for the Super Saloons tonight. Brilliant 3-way battle for the top spot in their previous heat race. But Terry Soper's got this one all his own way in the 8D machine. Of course, the ex-Racing Ray Stewart 34T machine. Ray Stewart, one of the older competitors in the grade. Having a big 70th birthday this year. Central Motor Speedway, 70 laps they're going to run in honour of Racing Ray Stewart. As this battle still continues for third place, Ray Stewart on the inside of Paul Simon. Both cars leaving black stripes across the surface there at turn 2. Ray Stewart now, though, comfortably in third position ahead of Paul Simon. Looks to be starting to pull away a little bit from Paul Simon in that 7 car. White flag for our race leader, though, Terry Soper. He's a long way ahead of the third place battle. Here's Terry Soper at turn 3 and 4. He's got Ricky Bolton behind him, and they'll run to the checkered. First place to the 8D machine of Terry Soper. 8.61, Ricky Bolton ran second. Third was Ray Stewart. Then Paul Simon, Ewan Shearing rounding out that field. Beautiful looking Hypermac race car of Terry Soper. Green here for the final heat race at Beachlands Speedway, the Otago Saloon Championship, brought to you by Meikle Transport, and Blair Finlay leading the way in the 98D machine. He's got Phil Burgess on his outside. He's got Davey McCallion on the pole line on his left-hand rear guard, but Blair Finlay and the new car to the Finlay Motorsport team holding them off at this early stage. Coming through the field, looks like Lloyd Phillips. True to his word, he is higher on the racetrack, but the car doesn't look super suited to that. As we go 2 wide for the lead, it's Blair Finlay on the inside. Davey McCallion in the 26 car, trying to get around the young fella. Blair Finlay keeping it nice and straight, driving off the corner. Low side of the racetrack for Blair Finlay in the 98D car. Raymond Phillips now moves through to the inside of Dave McCallion. Can't get that job done, and McCallion fights back, slams the door and holds second position. Blair Finlay leads another one, 12 laps the distance, and it's a 3-way fight for the lead. The flyer, Raymond Phillips, again to the inside of McCallion. Again, McCallion looks to work around the outside of him. This time he can't do it. And now Raymond Phillips, who's on a perfect night so far. 2 from 2 for Raymond Phillips. Sits second behind the relative newcomer, Blair Finlay. Blair Finlay driving beautifully though, and those three have checked out on the field. So Blair Finlay leading the way, coming under extreme pressure from Raymond Phillips. We heard Phillips discussing getting much straighter, better drive bite off the corner. That was the adjustment they made to the 17 car. Let's see if that can work for him to get some straight drive off turn 2. McCallion now to the outside, and we've got a three-way fight once more for the lead. Phillips now to the point, slides up the racetrack. Blair Finlay to his inside. Good battle, but Raymond Phillips now comfortable in the lead. Let's see if McCallion has anything for him in that 26D car. Ray Phillips' car though, so good off turn 2. Raymond Phillips leading on points coming into this one was Raymond Phillips. He's on a perfect night so far, unbeaten from 2 heats. Davey McCallion in the 26D machine. Sitting second, we've got a good 2-wide battle down through the field. Mark Newell, Shane Greer involved. Looks like Phil Burgess in that one. Aaron Andrews in the 57 car involved in that battle. White flag though for our race leader, the flyer Raymond Phillips in the 17 car. He's going to be perfect on the night, folks. Eurotargo Saloon champion, brought to you by Meikles Transport. It's the flyer, Raymond Phillips, 3 from 3 on the night here at Beachlands Speedway. The Otago Saloon champion, unbeatable. Raymond Phillips, the class of the field here at Beachlands Speedway. Provisional results, of course, but Raymond Phillips, 3 from 3 on the night. Superb drive, superb car setup, and he will be absolutely ecstatic with that one. Well, that's it, folks, for the Saloons for tonight. Eurotargo champion has been crowned. Brilliant racing all night out of this grade, the Saloon grade, going from strength to strength here in the Otago region. Great to see some travelling competitors. Great to see the local cars getting the job done. Lights are down, folks. Green is in the air, so Jason Scott, the front row, all to himself. Robinson and Taiwa share the second row. We're racing, folks, and it's Jason Scott. Jump to an early lead. Fetu Taiwa, though, digging round the bottom part of the racetrack. We've got a big 3-wide battle down the back straight. There was contact between O'Callaghan and Evans down the back straight. As Jason Scott leads the first one, it's Fetu Taiwa and James Robinson going at it. Mark Evans goes cross country to the infield. He's gone terminal. Over and out for Mark Evans in the Hydrolink 98. Jason Scott leading the way from Fetu Taiwa. James Robinson looking racy. Look at Sam O'Callaghan now working on the outside of Nigel Colvin for 4th position. This is Fetu Taiwa, Robinson battling for second. We're 2 wide behind them though. That's O'Callaghan and Colvin. O'Callaghan round the outside of Colvin. They're still 2 wide, folks. That's the battle for 4th position. 2-lane racetrack. Slick down the bottom. O'Callaghan trying to get something digging on the cushion. Good drive that time off turn 4. O'Callaghan sticking that right rear on the cushion, starting to run some good lap speed. No transponder on that car, so I can't bring you his lap times. Yellow is out. And it's the accountant. The 16 car of Matthew Anderson. He's gone around at turn 2. Well, Jason Scott, fast man on the track with a 16.0. Here's the replay. Matthew Anderson just overcooked himself on the cushion at turn 2. Difficult cushion on the racetrack, looks really powdery with no real height to it, so certainly not a lot of moisture on the racetrack. Slick, couple of lanes, but there's no real height to that cushion. As Jason Scott leads the field to green. And we're racing once more. Jason Scott leading the way. O'Callaghan goes downstairs, can't get much happening down there. Will he go back up top in an effort to get around James Robinson, who's looking good up on the cushion at the moment? Oh, O'Callaghan got under Robinson. O'Callaghan straight back to the cushion. He's the man to watch at the moment for me. O'Callaghan in the 49 car making passes. Robinson nice up on the cushion, but certainly some drive to be found low off turn 4 if you get it low enough. Jason Scott, oh, he checked up at turn 2, lost some ground. So Fetu Taiwa sensing an opportunity, running in second. There's the wing thunder of the sprint cars here at Beachlands Speedway. Oh, Fetu Taiwa with a mistake at turn entry of 3. Gifts second spot to Sam O'Callaghan, and here he comes, folks. O'Callaghan is on the move. Jason Scott running the cushion at 3 and 4. O'Callaghan following suit. There are 8 laps in the books, folks, and it's Jason Scott leading the way. Driving the car nice and straight round the cushion at 3 and 4. O'Callaghan doing all he can to run him down. Nigel Colvin running in 5th position behind James Robinson now. So Colvin looking to get it hooked up off the bottom of the racetrack at 3 and 4. But it's slicked right off, folks. The cushion is the only lane with any speed in it. As lap traffic is going to come into this one. Jason Scott now. Starting to think about how he's going to make some of these moves. John Seabright is going to be the first lapper in the 14 car, the Powder Line 14 machine. And O'Callaghan is stalking. White flag now though, 1 to go for Jason Scott. The lappers may not be a factor here, folks. Jason Scott leading the way down the back straight for the last time. O'Callaghan again throws the big slider, but he's way too far back. And it's Jason Scotty Scott, the king of Beachlands here tonight. Jason Scott in the 88T machine gets the checkers. O'Callaghan passed a lot of cars to run second. Third was Fetu Taiwa. James Robinson ran 4th, then Kyle Sheeran. Well, boy oh boy, Jason Scott, after a shocking start to his night in the heat races, picked up a final heat race victory and led the feature. Flag to flag for Jason the King Scott. In the Edge Parts and Performance 88T. Triple X chassis. Jason Scott loves his racing, of course. He's put this series on, folks. Edge Parts and Performance. So just the one caution in that one. It was almost flag to flag, and Jason Scott led every lap. Fast time as well with a 16.0 set on lap 2.
Fiju Taiwa, mate, 3rd spot. That's pretty awesome. Just sort of leave the best till last, eh?
Yeah, I'm pretty happy with the finish. Second and third race, I missed the setup a little bit, but didn't change nothing for the last one, and it came in for us.
You must be pretty stoked with the way the car's gone tonight, though. It's pretty tough track conditions out there, eh?
Yeah, it is. It's a little bit different than normal. I think, I don't know, I think you guys haven't got the rain that everyone else has got the last couple of weeks, but usually it's really drivey and grippy, but tonight it's a little bit slippery and slick.
I suppose that didn't help that the sun was out when we all arrived, and of course the wind was there blowing it around as well. So I suppose it's just one of those things, really, isn't it? Yeah,
it is, and it's the same for everyone on the track. So it's you got to read it right, and like I said, I missed the first two, but got it in the end.
Enjoying the Southern Sprint Car Series?
Yeah, no, it's great, excellent. I think with the few new guys that have come aboard, it's good for them, and it's good for me and some of the better drivers as well.
Well, the thing is, it's you've sort of been racing for quite some time, and a lot of the sprint car stuff that's been happening has been sort of that higher end stuff, and it's hard for somebody like yourself that's sort of trying to get into the sprint car racing to compete with some of these guys. But now it sort of puts you on a level playing field, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does, and you hit the nail on the head there, where before you're straight into the war of the wings, and that's very hard, especially just starting off, and it's good that Jason's got this concept going, and it's good for everyone.
Well, it's also, you don't have to travel a million miles to go and be a part of this action as well. It's local tracks to you, to here, to Cromwell, to Invercargill. It's not that hard. It's pretty easy, really, isn't it? Yeah,
the travel's good, and it's given something back to the tracks as well, especially the 3 tracks down south. Hopefully they track all the tracks do well out of it, and everyone's happy.
Sponsors look after you, mate?
Yeah, at the moment, ITM, Design Windows, and a few other Cromwell Collision, and a few other small ones that they help us along the way, and you can't do it without the sponsors, and also the sponsors to all the tracks and that as well. It's good. It's good effort from everyone.
Well, congratulations, mate. 3rd spot, awesome job, and we'll be interested to see how you do for the rest of the series.
I'm looking forward to it, that's for sure.
Thanks, mate.
Thanks, Jace.
Okay, folks, here we are down for 2nd spot overall. It was Sam O'Culligan closing up as quickly as a bullet, but run out of laps, mate. Cut short that feature race too. So had it gone the whole 20, might have been a different story.
Yeah, that's it. Another couple of laps, we would have had it. We moved up from 12th, so the car's definitely on pace. Awesome track out there to rip around the top, and plenty of drive still down the bottom, so we were making it work, and happy to come home 2nd though.
A lot of people said there wasn't much drive out there, but you did find some upstairs, and you sort of just kept it there and gained a lot of spots. Is that maybe the hidden secret, that it was upstairs and no one else knew about it?
Yeah, I was definitely up there. I don't know if they know about it or not, just maybe they don't want to get up there, but that's where we run, and we will every week. At the end of the night, you got to be up there if you want to be up the pointy. And
yeah, absolutely, mate. So happy with the way the car's gone, your own car, no problems, no dramas, no issues?
No issues tonight, which is good. So put it back in the shed and run the 75 next weekend for War of the Wings, and back into it be good.
Absolutely. Good sponsors, mate. Who looks after you?
Yeah, obviously Lakeland Glass, Metro Glass, Civil Construction sponsoring the series tonight, and Hodgelink next weekend for War of the Wings, New Road Civil, Queenstown Hardfill, Valvoline, and the crew, Kev, Carl and Jim. An awesome job.
Absolutely, mate. Well, congratulations, 2nd spot, mate. Best of luck with the War of the Wings next weekend.
Cheers.
Okay, folks, that's the last one for the night. It's best to last, I suppose, isn't it? You started off pretty average, but you ended the night fairly well, mate. You must be stoked with that, Jason Scott.
Yeah, no, pretty happy at the end. We were battling the car, and when we had that second race incident and had that crash, we got rid of our right rear brake, and that's what was wrong in the car. It was something was grabbing in there, and it was unsettling the car. So we found the problems, which is bloody good.
The race was reduced down to 15 laps. Another 5 might have made a bit of a difference. It might have put somebody else up above you there, but still it doesn't matter. 15 laps, track conditions contributed to that, did it?
Yeah, no, you got to take the win, and I started to puff out there, right? But it was good. It was a bit of a one-lane cush out there, and I knew if I could keep a smooth line, then Sambo would have a hard time getting around, and that's where it was at, But Fitu and all that had a real good race as well. He was battling there behind me, and a good track in the end. Once the sun had gone, that moisture come back out, and plenty of drive.
Seat time's what you need, obviously, in events like this. You've had a good night tonight. What's your plans for the next couple of weeks?
Yeah, well, seat time's it, all right, and that's the B group guys tonight. They're all newbies, and that's why they're getting out there and getting those laps. It was good to see. You look how bad they started and how well they ended, and that's what we're here about. And next couple of weeks is Cromwell course, 28th and the 1st, and be a big field, 24 plus cars be running, and we're going to run a USA qualifying format, and it'll be a pretty exciting format. There's Buddy Coford's coming out from the States again. Craig Lansky's coming down for a night. We've got Hayden Patton running, and then all the local boys. So, it'll be a great show, and it'll be a real difficult format for everyone. We'll make something work, and it'll be fair for everyone, but it'll be a good show.
Absolutely. So what's the story with the Southern Sprint Car Series? Where does that kick off next?
So it's back here in Dunedin next to the new year, and on the 25th of January. And then it's off to Invercargill February, and then back to Cromwell on the Darrell Ainsley Memorial Weekend in March. So 3 rounds to go. And the next few rounds after Christmas, I'd say we'll have a bigger field of cars. There'll be a few more turning up, and it's all on. Don't know where the points are. I might have won the feature, but overall I wouldn't have won for the night. So it's it could be a B grade driver won tonight. We don't know yet.
It's an interesting format in the way you're doing the points as well, which sort of gives everybody that opportunity to maybe, get a couple of trophies they would normally not get.
Yeah, it's about looking after everyone, and, it's not just about the guy that won. It's about, everybody having a good time and getting that experience. And in 2 years' time, we'll see the grade grow more and more, And young Jack Brown out there, 2 or 3 times in the car. That track was hard early and slick, and he hardly spun up, and he was going real good. That he's just a young fella, so that's what we're trying to breed into. A bit of a shame Luke didn't get going tonight. Bit of bad luck there, but Matt here, I took him out and he got going. He had a bent car and he still finished and then did well. Credit to everyone.
Absolutely, and I noticed John Severite got it all sorted out for that last race as well. Drove very, very well.
Yeah, exactly. It's just that seat time and getting to know the car. It looks easy from here sometimes, but it can be real hard. And when you've got a bad car under you, it makes you look bad, and that's where it's at. And John, he persevered, got the car right, and pulled some good laps here, and just nice and consistent, smooth lines, and speed will come as time goes by.
Absolutely. Of course, he's never really driven anything before either, which doesn't really help, does it? Apart from the hard track stuff. You got some good sponsors to look after you, Jace, who does?
Yeah, no, Edge Parts, of course, it's here for your hot rods and motorsport stuff, and Jackson's Orchard fruit. When you're up in Central, make sure you go get some fruit. The cherries are a week late, but they'll be big and ripe next week with a bit of sunshine, and Invercargill Flooring Extra. Go and get laid by them.
Literally. All right, mate. Hey, thanks very much, Jace. Congratulations on that heat win anyway.
Yeah, no, thanks very much.
Okay, folks, it about wraps it up here from Beachlands Speedway. Big thanks to those guys from Speed Shift TV for allowing you to bring this to you. And don't forget, next time we'll see you, probably going to be January for the International Midgets. I'm Jay signing off for Speed Shift TV. Have yourselves a great night.